All right, you know what this is, boy. We back at it like crack addicts.
Yes, we are.
This is Unwrap. That disclaimer, please. Read that disclaimer.
At Unwrap. So don't come at us respectfully.
Yeah, I mean, don't come at us if you in your feelings about something that's being said. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Yeah, you heard what the engineer said. Don't come at us at all. I mean, that pretty much sums it up, I think. Don't come at us at all. But just hang tight. We getting some things done here real quick. We got a good one today. Oh my God. And I know I say this every fucking show.
Yes, this shit is well seasoned.
I am fucking excited.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes, look at his face.
Look. Hold on. Let me get rid of the disclaimer because I don't think they understand the real excitement that is going on right here and what is happening. I am thoroughly excited. Okay? But first, man, because I'm gonna fuck around and forget some shit.
I know.
Okay. Once again.
Yes.
I am your boy Heat Detector. See, I'm fucked up in the head right now.
Heat and it's hot and let's go.
Yeah, I'm your boy Heat Detector, and I got my illustrious co-host, Nash Vino.
Yes.
And of course, we have the engineer somewhere around here. We don't know. We don't ever know where he's at. And of course, he gets all the accolades.
I think he was here before us. I don't know.
See?
Wow.
See, I gave him the gunshot thing, and now he gonna go crazy for it. But anyways, let's get back to the fucking topic. Now listen to this.
Yes.
Let me just turn this shit off right quick. I am happy.
Yes.
I am excited.
Yes.
I am full of fucking gratitude. I'm humbled.
Yes.
Can you believe that? I'm fucking humbled.
We're about to be in the presence of motherfucking royalty, if you really want to be honest.
Some real hip hop legendary shit. Some real hip hop icon shit. Some real shit. And you know what? I ain't gonna say shit else. I'm just gonna go ahead and just bring him on in. We got Daddy-O from Stetsonic up in this bitch.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Salute.
Welcome.
Salute.
Man, we so excited about this. You have no idea. I am like I'm still trying to get my little thoughts together and everything. I wrote some questions down. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to ask him. I don't know what's going on. But for those out there that live in La La Land and don't know who this man is, you need to go do your homework. But we're gonna start it off. Daddy-O, go ahead and tell these people like who you are, where you come from, and all that.
It's easy, man. Google me now. Now I'm Daddy-O from Stetsonic, hip hop rap, hip hop, I guess legend now, if that means anything, but I definitely kind of saw I'm definitely one of the pioneers of at least rap on record. I wasn't around with Melly Mel who was playing around, but by the time it got on record, I was there. Done a lot of things in the industry. Hip hop gave me that introduction. So I did a lot of things in the industry. I got to produce a lot of big people, work with Mary J. Blige, Biggie, Lil' Kim, Red Hot Chili Peppers, B-52s, the list goes on, Third World, all types of music. Still rapping, still got my band Stetsonic. We're working on an album now, which will be the 4th studio album. I mean, there's actually probably four pieces. No, yeah, there's probably 4 pieces of material out there because there's 3 studio albums, and then there's one that we did with a label overseas, which is like called People in the Neighborhood, which is like an EP with a bunch of unreleased stuff. That's kind of dope too. And then but we're working on like our official 4th studio album. On my own, I started putting out solo records again in 2016. I did my first solo record in 1993. So this year, 23. So I haven't dropped nothing for 23. 22 made like my 7th solo album. Right. If I count You Could Be a Daddy But Never Daddy-O that I did on Polygram in 93. And then from 2016 on my own label, I've been putting out, these joints, like and it's heavy. I started off this journey of re-rapping. I could call it that. I started off the journey
Right.
of re-rapping, saying I don't make records for the kids, I make them for their parents. And now
Right,
I'm at
right.
a point. Now I'm at a point where like I'm like, J. Cole, come on, what the fuck you got, man? You know what I mean? I
Okay.
got nice.
Okay.
I got real nice. Like I didn't know I was gonna get this nice, but I did. And there's still a lot of guys who I really respect. That's like my friends get mad at me because sometimes I have a beat, right? And I be man, I wish I could rap. And they'd be like, what you talking about, D? And I'd be like, man, if I could rap, I would kill this. Like, because it's a beat that I know if I handed it to Black Thought or if I handed it to a guy like Apathy or Self-Titled, they would just mash it. And it takes me so long to figure it out. Like I did a couple of years ago, I did a record with AZ. It took me like 4 months to write my verse.
Damn.
Because I knew I was gonna be rapping with A, and that's a whole nother thing. Like that's not really what I do, but I'm learning how to do it. So I'm learning how to rap again. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, that leads me to a question. I heard you say in an interview that you come from an era, and it made a hell of a lot of sense to me. And I was like, well, what the fuck? That makes, I don't know why a lot of heads don't even really think that way, or maybe they do, but you had said like when you came up, there wasn't a lot for you to learn off of. There was just a certain and this and that, and there wasn't much to learn from.
You feed off what's around you.
Right. And so nowadays with the variety and all the different styles and different things, there's so much to learn from and so much to grab and pull from.
Oh yeah.
And I was talking to a friend who was saying, you guys came from at the end of an era, an end of a, you know, everybody get on down, you know, like at the end of that, at the very end of that era of that type of voice articulation. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because that had to be hard. What was that like? Like to make that shift without the would be the old heads then now saying to you, like, you know, back then, like, yo, what is you doing? That's not how you do it.
Well, this is what I will say. I always say, you know, because hindsight is 2020. So now I could, you know, I can make it sound pretty.
Right.
Coming up with Stetsasonic was great because it was so many of us. Right. And so that in itself was enough, like almost enough, like because you got so many cats to bounce your ideas off of. Right. So whereas I might have been in tune with what Mel and them was doing, Prince Paul ain't really care because he was 17 years old.
Right.
And from Long Island. So his whole perspective was like, I understand, I know that's what's there, but here I come.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm coming with my own thing. You know what I'm saying? DBC was already a producer. So, and he had already worked with the Boogie Boys and all of that. So he's sitting there trying to kind of figure it out. And then me, Delight, and Fuquan is on some other type of thing. And then Wise is in there with the human percussion. So it was a lot to pull on to be defined. I want to say be defined and to be differentiated.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we kind of knew that we didn't want to sound like Mel and them.
Right.
We didn't want to sound like Fearless and them. We didn't want to sound like Kaz and them. You know what I mean? So, and then the other situation with us was we were past, people always ask me this, and I got my, it's a couple of arguments that I won't have. I won't have the argument of hip hop versus rap. I think it's a whack ass argument. But I will.
Hip hop culture.
Hip hop. I'm just saying I don't, because it's so. It's like having a black and white conversation to me. Like you do a damn what's them things called, the DNA thing, you're gonna find a bunch of slave masters in your bloodline. So I don't want to hear that shit. I really don't.
Right.
I really don't. Like you can't, and it's the same thing with them. You know what I'm saying? But I do make a distinction between rappers and MCs. and it's real easy. Once we stepped in the booth, we might have still been an MC, but we were rappers now.
Right, became rappers.
You know what I'm saying? Once we stepped in the booth, so we came in. This is you know, I know it's a long answer to a short question, but we came in at that time that we were going to be defined by these records.
Right.
See, that was the Melly Mel and them's reality. Their reality, they was being defined by their rhymes alone.
Right. And maybe being in a show or something in front of a crowd.
Wasn't on in the beginning, they wasn't on record. You know what I'm saying? So they was being defined by their rhymes alone, playing the Hevalo, playing the Disco Fever, or you know, playing in Harlem, or sometimes they would come to the Armory in Queens. They were being defined by their rhymes alone. We were gonna end up being defined by these recordings.
Right, these records, yeah.
And so we came in at such a pristine time, which is why people say it's the golden era. We came in at such a pristine time that we had already heard Melly Mel and them make Super Rapping that was 12 minutes. We had already heard Funky 4+1 More make Rapping and Rock the House, which is about 11, 12 minutes. We had already heard all of that and knew that that was great for the street, but wasn't going to do nothing for the radio.
Right.
And so at that time, I was talking to you about this the other day when me and you was on the phone. Now you got, God Bless the Dead, you got Pink House in Chicago, right? You got Mr. Magic in New York. You got Greg Mack in LA. You got Lady B in Philly. And so now we getting a little bit of radio play, and those people were bucking for us. The Awesome Two, let me not forget Hank Love and them. Let me not forget the Awesome Two. Is a bunch. But those people, they got late night shows, but they bucking for us to make radio the daytime. They're working so hard that one of these damn records I play tonight is gonna make daytime.
Right. Got you. Yeah, I know. I was one of them kids who stay up all night with my radio, cocked and ready. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's what's happening. So I would say, as a, you know, answering your question in terms of the word transition, I think it was an easy transition. I think the hardest thing, and honestly, it seems to be the same battle today, which I think is super ugly. But the hardest thing was the us against the world thing. That was the hard thing. You know, the hard thing was that we, that everybody's looking at us like, you're gonna die, you're gonna fade out. You're just a fad. Nobody really wants to hear you.
Right. And that was that era too. That like rap is just a fucking.
So that was the hardest thing, the us against the world. But it was also the driving force.
Right. And who gets the biggest laugh at the end of it anyway? Like,
knowing that we had that opposition, we fighting back. You know what I mean? So that was a big deal.
And that's a struggle that a lot of MCs or rappers these days would never ever understand. So that leads me to another question I have for you. What do you think it would have been like for you and everybody that you came up with in that era, like in the early 80s, late 80s, if you had social media and if you had social media and if you had the internet?
I think we would have broke the internet. I say that all the time. I say, imagine if we had social media when we in the studio making self-destruction.
Oh man.
Right?
Yeah.
And somebody's taping it. I'm there. A few people are there. D Nice and them and Keith Shockley's in the other room. And LL Cool J's in the room and Light's in the room. And LL asks his Light, who's going after you? And Light says, Daddy-O. And he snatches the paper from her and say, you can't go before Daddy-O with that rhyme. Because Light's rhyme was dope, but it was all statistics. 9 out of 10 violent, da 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 da. And LL grabs the pen and the paper and starts writing Funky Fresh ready. He
Oh,
writes.
so LL wrote that shit.
Yeah. So LL writes a rhyme. So imagine having that on social media. We'd have broke the damn internet.
No shit.
And there's so many other instances that I know would have broke the damn internet. You know what I mean?
That's wild. Yeah.
And a lot of them involve. Weirdly enough, the second one I'm thinking of involves LL as well, because I remember we were on the Dope Jam tour with LL Cool J and Houdini as the headliners. And when we went to Atlanta at the when we played the Omni in Atlanta, Run DMC and the Beastie Boys had their own tour. They was like the pop rap tour. So they had their own tour. Our tour was stacked. It was L and Houdini at the top. It was Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince and Dougie Fresh and the Get Fresh crew in the middle. And then that bottom middle was Eric B and Rakim. And the bottom layer, the two biggest groups that shared a bus together was Public Enemy and Stetsasonic. And then later, EPMD would be added to that. Right?
Damn.
But when we go play the
no, y'all motherfuckers is in your prime.
That's a 2-day long concert.
Shit. I had to shit my pants
so
seeing that show.
What happens is when we get to Atlanta, they say, yo, y'all gotta play with Running the Beasties. We bringing that tour together. Every night, we were such fans of each other, but every night that LL, who was our headliner, came out, all of us would be on the sidelines. Me, Jalil, God bless the dead, Ecstasy, Chuck, Flav, Eric, Ra, all of us would be on the sidelines watching LL just kill it. And he had these radios that used to come down, and he had
I saw him in concert one back in the day.
He had Bobcat on the other. And this particular night, LL could not do any of that because of Run and the Beasties. And so the tour went as planned, as scheduled. But the way they worked the last 3 acts was they was going to do really the last 3 acts. Yeah. So they did Houdini. Then they did, I'm saying 4 now. They did Houdini. So that's kind of ending all of us except for L. Then they do the Beasties. Then they're going to do L. And then they're going to do Run. They did not let LL land his radios, like all the stuff that he used to do. They didn't let him. This is the first night this boy took off his shirt. And he fucked Run's life. Man, Run argues with me to this day. He fucked Run's life so much. He taught me something so well this night. Because this little nigga got up there and killed the show. You know, all of us is like, because it's like us against them. So we ain't care about them. We like, get him, Al, get him. This nigga took his shirt off, and when he got done with the show, he said, "Good night, y'all. Get home safe." And half the damn crowd left.
Oh shit!
Wow. I don't know if that's petty or not.
That would have broke the internet, bro. So it's so many things that we did that was so phenomenal that you know, I was, the other day, right? Because Melly Mel is my favorite, right? And I always tell people the greatest MC in the world is Melly Mel. If you got a problem with that, we could fight, we could put on gloves, whatever, right? Mel did something. I noticed something. I don't know what happened, but I'm just listening to music because now I got Apple, Spotify, all that. And I noticed that Prince produces a record. Shaka Khan sings the record. Stevie Wonder is playing on the record. And guess who's rapping? Melly Mel's rapping on it. None of us have ever achieved that feat in life. You can hang up your fucking mic.
I feel for you. That's the name of the joint. Yeah, I feel for you.
Prince produced the record. Shaka Khan is singing the record. Stevie Wonder is playing on the record. Mel is rapping on the record. Mm-hmm. That would have broke the internet, bro.
Facts.
You understand what I'm trying to say? Especially the way we do things now, because if I get one, we doing this show, right? And then it'll be on YouTube, and me and you will be able to grab clips from it and blah blah
Right,
blah.
right.
Like, that's the bottom line. It's like we had so many beautiful, incredible, groundbreaking. I guess that's a real meaning of groundbreaking, right? Groundbreaking moments that if we had social media, we either would have broke the internet, or me, because I know, you know, I've been in tech for a little while, they would have had to build servers that, you know, that they don't even have right now.
Right. So let me ask you another question, because it kind of adds to that, because I get a lot of flack. I've been in the music industry. I've done some shit. I've been signed twice. I've had my ear, keep my ear to the streets type shit. I still make music. And I get a lot of shit from a lot of these young cats. And they're like, oh, you just mad you didn't have Spotify when you came out, when you did your little thing. You just mad they didn't have Apple. You just mad. Like, you know, being called an old head all the fucking time. You ever been called an old head or angry old head?
I've been called an old head, not angry, because I love them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was on Key Glock and Dolph before most people. But my argument with the young people is like, nigga, I had a 5-shot revolver, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I had to make sure that I hit everything. Nigga, you got a Mac 11 with a banana clip and you missing. What are you talking about? Like the bottom line is, all I had was a bag at Tommy Boy called fan mail. You could go one-on-one on Twitter, or one-on-one on YouTube, or one-on-one on Instagram with your fans, and you ain't even answering them. Nigga, you ain't even hitting like when they comment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the bottom line is that they not using this thing to their advantage at all, bro.
Advantage. No, not at all.
They spoil. So no, ain't nobody mad that we ain't had no Spotify, because I said it on what's the one of them Stet records I just made. I said you want followers, we got a following. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a totally different situation. You know, me and you is we different, and the reason we different is because I don't have the dilemma. Let me just call it a dilemma. I don't have the dilemma of being Future and Designer putting out a record and people thinking it's me. That's not happening to me.
Right. Oh, yeah. No, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And
I mean, the bottom line is that I know a lot of these young artists because I listen to the music, right?
Right.
But a lot of people don't know the difference between a Roddy Ricch and a Rod Wave. Can't tell.
That's very
you
true.
all using auto tune, so nobody can really know. I know because I know those artists. That's just me. I'm stupid with rap music. So
no, you're speaking the truth. You speaking the truth, bro. You 100%.
The bottom line is that a lot of y'all sound alike. Like it's so many things that's gonna end up hurting you later. Even if you pop it right now, you're not gonna have that status that a Daddy-O or a Delight have when they walk in a room. It ain't gonna feel the same, bro. It's not, and the reason it ain't gonna feel the same is because you're not thinking of it as your craft the way we did.
Right.
These rhymes are sacred to us, bro. You know.
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
When you writing your joints, you just like, yo, this is my joint. Like, and you don't really, you wanted to blow. Yeah, you wanted to blow. We all want to blow. But
right.
But that's not the motivation.
Even if it don't blow, that's my joint right there.
Yeah, facts. Big facts.
This means something to me. You understand what I'm trying to say? I think of my brother. I think my brother, he passed away. I think of my brother T-Funk from the New York City Bad Boys. And I remember me and T-Funk always used to go at it in East New York before I made records and before he made. I tell people this all the time. I love this. when he says that line on Inspector Gadget, when he says, "I'm the chief and there is no other," he's talking to me. Because remember,
Oh,
my name is
wow.
Daddy-O, the Chief MC.
Right.
So when he said, "I'm the chief," but that was his joint. You understand what I'm trying to say? When he doing this,
Oh yeah,
you could tell.
I mean,
You know,
maybe these little ones in this room, maybe these little ones in this room don't understand, but I get it 100%. We got a couple of little ones in the room.
Heat. Listen, man.
What's up? I just got
I was
goosebumps.
listening the other day, right? I was listening the other day to I went on YouTube, you know, we all do YouTube thing, and I looked up Enjoy Records, right? And I found some DJ had put together like maybe a 21, 22 minute compilation of Enjoy Records. So it might be longer than that.
Right.
And I'm listening to some of those records, and I'm saying we still don't sound better than that.
Wow.
We still don't sound better than the way Fearless sounded on It's Magic, or the way Flash and them sounded on Super Rap. We still don't sound better than that. We don't.
Right.
It's amazing that we don't, and it's kind of whack that we don't, but we don't. because the way those guys, you and me, Heat, all of it, the way we took this rhyme thing, it was like, yo, this is my joint right here. It wasn't everything they do is throwaway. Everything they do is throwaway.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's because they're chasing hits, dollars, whatever you want to call it. But it ain't for the love of their craft or the art form, if you want to call it that.
Agreed.
What do you mean? If you want to call it, it is an art form.
But you make, like, I hear you make this point in a lot of your interviews where you talk about them sounding the same, and so much so where you really do have to sit back and think, like, is that so and so or is that so and so? And probably because they run in the same circles, they talk about the same things, they like the same things. Right. There's really no such thing as originality.
It's a certain blueprint that they all figured out, and they all try to follow it. They just think that particular thing. This is what I tell.
Well, no, I was talking about his specific point, like his.
Okay.
But that I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But that leads me to my point, and what I was gonna ask was, you mentioned Dolph a lot and Key Glock.
Right.
What is it about them?
I don't know. Like, I really wish I could answer it. Like, from the time, like right before they did Dumb and Dumber, I'm listening to what they do, and I'm like, these little dudes got some little playful thing that they doing back and forth, and they believe it. Right? Like, it sounded mad believable. Like, I was listening to all the other rappers too, but I was like, they don't sound believable like these. And you know what's so interesting about my love for Key Glock and Dolph? Now Memphis is blowing up. And I was loving them way before Moneybagg and Yo Gotti and them was popping.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't know where Yo Gotti stands in his mind in the argument, but I still look at them as the progenitors of that sound. I look at Dolph and Glock like they started that. Now Glorilla can do it. Now they could do the Shibuya record. Now they could do all that, but y'all can only do that because Glock and Dolph.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
This is that's what I tell a lot of young kids.
So if I had to grab from anything besides saying I don't know, and the only reason I say I don't know because I usually try to have a damn professor's dissertation on most of the shit I say.
Right. Yeah, we noticed.
Yeah. So the only thing I can say besides I don't know is I think it was the believability of the two of them. It just came across like, yeah, bro, I don't care what you say. I don't care how stupid it sounds. You sound like you believe that. And that is what attracted me to rapping and words and lyrics in the first place.
That Kaz, so like that's what I
all the time. Kaz gets on me all the time about Little Rodney C really being Daddy-O's idol. And he says, that's your problem right there. You know what I'm saying? Him and Mo D laughing at me, right? But when Rodney C said, another MC when he running down rhymes, but half the time he just running down mine. That's okay because I know someday I'll put him in check and take his rep away. I said, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Because that's
And it was,
crazy
and it
to
was
me.
fun.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
I know what he's doing. He copying me, but that's okay because I know someday I'll put him in check and take his rep away. And I'm like, yo, you know what I'm saying? And that's what attracts me to anybody when they doing what they doing. Right? And that's why
I tell most of that shit nowadays. I tell them, you know, when I get a young artist, because I, you know, every so often one of my older heads be like, yeah, man, I got this kid, man. He came to me and I told him I sent him to you. And once I hear them, I'm like, no. And one of the things I tell them, I was like, when you rapping and you telling a story, you got to act this. When you get in the booth, you're basically acting with your mouth.
Yeah.
And I told them, I said, I say this to all of them. I was like, you got to act like it's just me and you, maybe sitting on the couch, smoking a blunt, and you talking to me like you just came from this shit happening, and you telling me this shit. Because that's how conversations go. And then, you know, you be like, oh yeah, and then the motherfucker get, you know what I mean? You're high at one point, you're low at another point. You got to take a person on a roller coaster. And then I get some of these other ones trying to make love songs. And I tell them, would you really like say it that way to a girl? Like, imagine yourself in front of the girl and you're telling her this shit.
That's what's missing.
That's what's missing. All of that shit. There's no feeling in it. There's no nothing.
That's what takes away from their longevity.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
You know
and that's why somebody like LL or Busta Rhymes, even Busta Rhymes to this day is still relevant
because he keep doing
it. Because Busta he believes in it. He believes in it.
Yeah.
He figured it out. You know what I'm saying? That I mean, even you know, and we could talk about that, but you know, I don't have a bunch of good things to say about that last Grammys, but Busta might be.
Yeah, man, speak your piece. Because of the last Grammys is the reason I reached out to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the very fucking reason I reached out to you. I saw your post saying we didn't get invited to the Grammys, and I felt like y'all got slighted, especially it being 50 years of hip hop. Right. And in my mind, I was like, let me reach out to my man. Maybe he'll answer back.
Oh, I definitely answer back. I mean, but even on that stage, Busta literally had a part where he says, y'all think I'm playing, and he does that rhyme that he does on the Chris Brown song. And I just thought that was dope. And I think believability is definitely gonna, you know, it's gonna weigh itself out. You know what I'm saying? The sad part about some of the young people that we dealing with now is the deaths, man. You know, it's like,
oh man. You know speaking of that, before we go any further on that, bro,
Vaughn was on to something.
We gotta,
and so was Juice, and so was Nipsey. But like,
oh man, don't even get me started with Nipsey. Don't get me started.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what?
I love the fuck out of Nip. But excuse me,
man,
before we go there, we gotta say this, man, because we would be remiss if we don't, man. We're gonna try to give a little moment of silence to Trugoy the Dove. You know what I'm saying? Rest in paradise, my brother, and just give it this quick moment of silence for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Trugoy. Plug one. We all love De La Soul. I always remember when I first heard De La Soul, I was just, my mind was fucking blown. And then Prince Paul was just like, you know, I already knew who Prince Paul was because that's Sonic. So now the idea for a lot of years in my head that it was Prince Paul who got them their deal. Come to find out, it ain't so.
Yeah, so Paul handed me the tape and said, man, I don't know what to do with this. And on top of it, in natural, original, genuine Prince Paul fashion, because he's probably one of the most humble guys that I know on the planet, besides for Wise from Stetsasonic, because Wise is super humble. He didn't even know if it was going to work. Like, he was not sure. There was not. Paul's not the kind of guy to make something and go, "I'm dope."
Daddy, I gotta address something real quick, because I just Lord Godspeed just said, not for nothing, in the early part of this interview, the interviewer is insinuating that Daddy-O didn't have great, wasn't, what did he say?
Didn't have great lyricists to look up to in the pattern, off work, and that's not true.
Well, that's not what I was saying. And actually,
no. Let me answer that. Let me be the one to answer that. We could say that I had great lyricists to look up to, with Melly Mel being my favorite, Kumo D probably being the best around that time, pound for pound and rhyme for rhyme. Let's not forget Silver Fox. Let's not forget Keith KC from the Mastodon Committee. But you can't say Kendrick don't bring that shit. You can't say J. Cole don't bring this shit. You can't say Black Thought don't bring it. You can't say Self-Titled don't bring it. You can't say Apathy don't bring it. So what happened with the expansion of hip hop and down the line, it gave me more of a model, because there was some of these things that these young dudes were doing that none of my pioneers did. No disrespect to my pioneer. I love my pioneer. I love him.
No, I don't think he was saying that you would be. That it was more like directed at me, the way I say, like
no, but it was because but it was you responding to an interview that I had prior.
Right. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. But no, it's not that I didn't have. DLB's dope from Fearless 4. Like, yes, there were people that were dope, and listen, man, we rap on record for a living, and we flip these words for a living. And let me say something, man. The new Daddy-O is dope, mostly because of battle rap.
Right.
Mostly because of battle rap. When I seen T-Rex do what he does, when I watch A-Ward do what he does, when I seen Hitman Holla do what he does, now they got this the Easy the Block Captain coming out of crazy. When I seen what they do, I was like, oh, I could do that with words.
Right.
So then I had so look at the old Daddy-O. You hear some dope lines, right?
Yeah.
Dope. But I ain't
I'm agreeing with you.
Back in the day, I ain't never said no shit like Conrad Murray a case because I kill Mike. What?
You know what?
Yeah.
If you were sitting here in front of me, I would slap you. I would have.
You wait a minute. You slap Daddy-O?
You ain't just hear what he said?
I heard what he said, but I don't think he should be slapping him.
Man, that's my reaction. I'm sorry. But listen, I don't mean to get off subject, but something that you said is, I swear, it's got my temperature. So listen, I feel like the most beautiful thing in the world is someone like you coming from where you come from and who you are and what you mean to the game. For you to even say something about the King Vons and the Juice WRLDs.
Yeah.
Because seriously, I at some point, I call myself a hip hop snob, right? I wasn't fucking with drill at all. Like, I don't want to hear about it. I don't give a shit.
Right.
I heard him talking in an interview one day, and like, I just stuck. I was like, who the fuck is this kid?
Right.
So then I went back, and I'm like, let me see what's to this. And I'm talking about from the second I started listening to him, I started picking things out, and I was like, if he keeps going, like, I'm feeling like the way Big would pull me into what the shit he was saying, like Warning is one of my favorite songs.
Well,
like,
you know what they was calling King Von at the time, like right after his death, that he would have been like the next Slick Rick, the next best storyteller.
And like, for you to even say that,
Von's
like,
crazy, man. Von was ill.
Like, I love it. And that, I think that, to me, that's what it is about you, that you not only take the time to keep your ear to the streets, but it's genuine, you know what I'm saying? And like, it's respecting the growth in the distinctions and the different perspective, you know what I'm saying? And just a different outlook on life. Because if people were still rapping like Melly Mel and them, I mean, that'd be great because that's all we would know. You know, so we wouldn't have any other examples. But where would the growth,
Right.
be? I mean,
Yeah,
that's amazing.
And Lord Godspeed is going really ham on the chat on. You see what he said? Hip hop is the culture, and rapping is one of the things that you do within the culture. We know this: graffiti, DJing, breaking, and rapping. The things you do within the culture. We know this. Ain't nobody said that wasn't it. I don't know what part he didn't get, but okay. Hey man.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get it, but I think that, and this is why I don't have the argument. This is why I don't like the argument of the hip hop versus rap, right? I totally get what people are saying. I get it. I mean, I'm one of the guys, I'm one of the biggest advocates to explain to people that the rapper came last.
Right.
Let's talk about the beginning of hip hop. The beginning of hip hop.
Let's go. Wait, pause 1 second. This is a fucking history lesson. Really Y'all listen close. Shots fired right now. Shots fired. This is a motherfucking history lesson. And if you ain't listening, God bless your soul. All right, my bad. I had to say that.
So the beginning of hip hop is there are gangs in New York and they make a truce. Okay. Even the Zulu Kings become the first breakdancing crew. Okay. So hip hop, one thing I like to explain to people all the time, and I remember a professor at Emory coming up to me after one of my TED Talks and saying, man, I never knew hip hop had a nonviolent origin. Hip hop has a nonviolent origin because we started off ending violence. But and what happened was the competition moved into 3 areas: graffiti writing, breakdancing, and DJing. So now all that competition that was had with sticks and bats and pipes and sometimes guns, knives, you know what I mean, turned into that. The rapper came last. We wasn't around in the beginning. We wasn't that cultural thing that you talk about with hip hop. I almost get mad when people make rap one of the elements and shit. Yeah, it is, but we was kind of last.
Right.
Okay. And then here go the Daddy-O spill. People get mad at me about this, but I tell people this all the time. And I wasn't there, but a lot of pioneers are my friends. Some people give Hollywood the credit of being the first MC. Some people give Coke LaRock the credit of being the first MC. Maybe that's right, but I'm here to say all of our fathers, the father to all of us is Keith Cowboy, God rest the day. Because Flash told me how it happened. He said he DJing at a party. He puts the mic down and Cowboy picks up the mic. Now listen to me. Cowboy was in the army. There was a march in the army. You know how the march went? Hip hop, the hip hip, the hop, the hop, the hop, hip hip. That's an army march.
Right.
Okay. Cowboy taught Melly Mel how to rhyme. So I don't know what Coke LaRock was doing. And I know Hollywood wasn't doing that. He was over there doing Poo Tang Tang. I wanna go honey bun. Give me some of that.
You froze for a second, bro.
What'd you say?
I said you froze for a second. You froze for probably like 5 seconds.
Yeah, but I'm saying I know Hollywood was singing. I don't know what Coke LaRock was doing, but I know that Cowboy is all of our fathers because that's where we get that hip hop style from.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That army, that military cadence.
Exactly. So exactly. So what I'm saying is, the rapper came last. We could talk about culture all we really want to talk about, but it gets real weird when you comparing just the rap to the hip hop culture and saying, oh, well, rapping is one of the things we do. Hip hop is the culture. Hip hop was a culture before we was rapping. That's a fact. Because the elements that made hip hop had to be the music and the art. The
art.
way they wrote on the walls was different. The way they
Right.
danced was different. And those break beats, which they give Herc the credit for it, those break beats that they played at those parties was different.
Yeah.
The rapping came last. And so that's why rap and it's an interesting thing that the rapping came last, but it was kind of the only thing that could be recorded, right? Because we really are the best musical collage in the universe, right?
Yeah.
We playing other people's records and we rapping on top of this, like Rapper's Delight. People say it's the best rap record ever. It's Good Times, right? It's chic. Good Times. You know what I'm saying? So the rap was the thing that we could record and compete with Motown and compete with South Soul Records and compete with all the other things that was out there. You know what I mean? But it's like we got to be real careful with that whole hip hop culture argument, because I say this all the time. If Key Glock and Young Dolph are not my sons, then whose sons are they?
Are they? Right.
Are they Kenny Rogers' sons?
No. And then besides that, who's done Kenny Rogers? Because let's be very clear, country music derives from old slavery folk songs.
Exactly. So we gotta be really careful. And the bottom line is that I tell this to people all the time. Yes, people have wayward sons, but here's the answer to hip hop. People want to know the answer to hip hop all the time. The answer to hip hop is to get rid of the absentee fathers.
Man, come on.
Ain't no way in the world Grandmaster Cash shouldn't be talking to Moneybagg Yo. Ain't no way in the world. No way in the world. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make natural sense. I lived in New York most of my life. Bottom of 2008, I moved out of New York and I went south. It wasn't until I got to the South that I even listened to country music, because I didn't. I had an intern at the studio. He brought me like a whole hard drive verse of country, and that's when I got on the Blake. Way before Blake was doing The Voice and all that. I've been heard all that country music, and I noticed with the country music folks, like for instance, you take a guy like Jason Aldean, he still got a relationship with Hank Williams. You know what I'm saying? He still got a relationship with Dolly Parton in there. And so where are we when those kind of things start happening? When I watch a young dancehall artist like Movado still have a relationship with Beres Hammond,
right?
I'm like, where are we? Because we most of my peers are standing up, yelling and shouting at young people like they're not part of them, and that's just not true. That's not true.
That is a very true statement. That's like, when I hear people say, Jay-Z raised me, you know what I mean? My dad wasn't there. There's actually, the motherfuckers be like, yo, so I listened to what Jay-Z said, and that's what guided me through my life. And I think you're 100% right about that, because I'm not that much younger than you, but I ain't gonna say my because I just turned 25, so yeah. But I grew up on Daddy-O and Stetsasonic. I say and Stetsasonic because you always show. It just always felt like, because I was on the outside looking in. He's the leader. He's the leader of Stetsasonic. There's no way he's not the leader, because what does the leader do? Everybody, they follow.
They do.
You know what I'm saying? And it always just seemed like he was that one. And was that the case? But I had something else to say, but
it took me a long time to accept it. It really took me a long time to accept it. Like I kind of knew it. I kind of knew it internally and intrinsically, but like I also wanted that. Like, so founder wise, it's me and Delight. You know what I mean?
Right.
But leader wise, it probably is me. And I think I represented that from the beginning when I used to say Chief MC.
Right.
You know, 'cause I was always the chief MC daddy-o. You know what I mean? And so I think I recognized then that I was the chief, but it took me a little while. It took me a little while to kind of move into the leadership role, and it still has its benefits. I'm talking about today. It still has its benefits. It still has its downfalls. You know, because that's just not you know, leader is not an easy. It's not an easy sell, and then you know, it's just like, and not that, you know, not that they're my children, because they're not, but just like with your children, when your children are young, this is the way I describe it to kids all the time. When you little, you ask me to turn the light switch on and off. And then when you get big, you start finding out that you can flick the light switch on and off yourself.
Right.
That does something to your head, because now you don't have to ask me for it.
Right.
The ill part with parenting is you still not me just because you could turn a light switch on and off.
Right.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And so that's where things get a little you know, it rubs a little hard. I mean, you know, Fuquan not being in the band from the end of the second album on, that was part of that. You know what I mean? It was a big part of that. It was, you know, Fuquan left the group based on outfits, the same outfits you see. If you watch my post a couple of weeks ago, I posted a video with us on the Dr. Ruth show. And we had on those black and white suits. Right. Those black and white suits was the catalyst for Fuquan not being in the group.
Because I thought a long time ago, I like, you know, but I have to ask you this question before I get into that real quick.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of people that would say, how dare Daddy-O or whatever say that they were a fucking band? And I would like to hear your response on something like that, because you guys are also known as the first hip hop band. You know, some people will say, well, they ain't the Roots. They ain't got a drummer. They ain't got a guitarist. They ain't got this and that. But in my mind,
we've been had a drummer. But here's the Stetsasonic magic, mystery, whatever you want to put on it. All of the elements of hip hop we brought on stage. We brought a drum machine on stage. We brought a drum on stage. We brought turntables on stage. We brought a sampler on stage. We brought a human beatbox on stage, and we brought rappers on stage. That's why
everything.
That's why we consider ourselves a hip hop band, because we
give Stetsasonic a round of applause, because that right there is like low key Son in the Roots. He didn't say it, but I'm gonna say it. That's low key Son in the Roots, because you know maybe.
Well, yeah, I mean, come on, Rozelle ain't even in the Roots.
Yeah,
that's real. You know what I'm saying? Like the Roots. The Roots is a good jazz band. They're a good jazz band. They actually have played. You live in Chicago. They actually, the band as the Roots without Black Thought have played jazz clubs in Chicago.
Oh yeah. Facts.
Yeah, they're a good jazz band. That we're a hip hop band. It's a totally different thing. That's not what we do. We don't do that. Yeah. Now, granted,
I ain't arguing what he said. I ain't arguing what the man said. I'm just saying, yeah. They're a jazz band.
When we do our big shows, like the big show we did a couple of years ago, it's been 2 now. We did a Stetsasonic and Friends at the Bandshell in Coney Island. We brought horns and everything. You know what I'm saying?
I think I saw that. Doing more research. I think I saw that.
We can do that. But, you know, the basic elements of what we are is 2 turntables, a drummer, a couple of samples in there, and human percussion. That's what we do.
Right.
You know
Speaking of percussion. and I would be remiss if I did not ask you this as a producer myself. First of all, how in the fuck, what Top Billin' is one of my favorite joints. Only problem is that's the only joint they ever really had that really banged, that really did something, and that really,
Hey, be
in my
nice.
opinion,
Hey, be nice.
I know I'm being nice, fam. I'm just saying, what other joints? I mean, but anyways, when I found out that you produced that shit, it really started to make me think, because that drum pattern, especially at that point in time in hip hop, there was no drum pattern like that. What in the entire fuck were you thinking when you produced that joint?
So I made two great. They're not good. I made two great production mistakes in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I think number one is Top Billin', and I think number two is Ghost Stetson.
Wow.
Top Billin'. I got to give you the whole story. So, the light is staying with me at the time. Red Alert is doing, Latin Quarter was popping, but Red Alert is doing a Tuesday night,
right,
kind of after work set at the Latin Quarter.
Mm-hmm.
He plays when he's out there. Red Alert it's like, I don't know if he's breaking records or whatever, but he plays a lot of stuff that he ends up playing on Friday night on the radio. Some of the bigger stuff, but he's playing a lot more up and coming type of things, right? And the light always coming back to the crib singing this song. I like cherries because cherries taste better and grapes are sour. And I'm like, what are you singing? He's like, man, you just gotta hear it. You gotta hear it. And I'm like, he didn't even know who the group was. But one night I go out with him on a Tuesday night to the Latin Quarter, and I hear this I Like Cherries record. And it's this group called the Audio 2. And I said, whoa, I see what you're saying, D. They got something ill.
Milk,
it's like the way they do it. Yeah, the way they doing it is ill, because it's like they do this thing and then Milk kind of raps, but Giz kind of talks, and it's dope. And so fast forward a little bit, Stetsasonic is putting out their first album, On Fire, and we have a release party at the Michael Todd Room in the Palladium. And used to be the Palladium, is high rises now, but used to be the Palladium in New York City. And I see the Audio 2 there, and I grab Milk, and I say, yo, if you ever need somebody to produce your record, I'm your guy. And so he runs off and tells Nat, his pops, Daddy don't want to produce us. Daddy don't want to produce us.
His pop was the A&R or something was it Columbia or Arista or something like that? Or
I don't know where Nat was working at the time, but I end up working with the Audio 2. So I Like Cherries was such an influence to me. I started doing, and I put together this record for them called Make It Funky. And Make It Funky has the same kind of matrix as I Like Cherries. You know what I'm saying? Milk's gonna rap, Giz is gonna talk, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna do it like that. And I don't know, and they got they got a crib out, they staying out in Staten Island. They got a crib out in Staten Island. So I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was a food break, whatever. But Nat, myself, and Giz, we go upstairs in the middle of me working on this Make It Funky. Now, you know as well as I know, back in the day when we just had like the Linn drum and the SP12.
SP12.
It was like
maybe MP16. Maybe.
Right. But you remember it was it was a big feat, a big for producers if you knew how to program in song mode. Right. Because then it wasn't like you just had the same pattern running over and over. It's like it would switch up. You know how to do it in song mode. So I got Make It Funky all set up in song mode. Now, I don't know about to this day, but at that time, probably the most famous breakbeat was Impeach the President by the Honey Drippers. and everybody wanted to sample and Impeach the President. Milk and them had the first SP12 with that big floppy disk. It wasn't even the SP1200 wasn't even made. So I think that thing only sampled.
No, not the one with the 3.5 disk.
No. This was that big old floppy disk. It was like 10-inch floppy disk. Right?
That's crazy. Probably like 8 millis.
So it was a small amount.
Not even
of
a gig.
time. Yeah, it was a small amount of sampling time. I don't remember how many it was, but it might have been 3 seconds tops. But it was a small amount of sampling time. What happens is everybody and their mama wants to sample Impeach the President. So what happens is we go upstairs, myself, Nat, and Giz are upstairs. Milk is still downstairs. And Milk loads as much as he can of Impeach the President to in the SP12.
Right.
But I had programmed a song mode for Make It Funky.
So I already know what you're gonna say. So when you loaded the drums, it was probably the sample or something else, and then it
play. He hits play. If you notice, this is why I try to tell people: go back and listen to Top Billing again. It's not the same pattern over and over. It changes up. It doesn't always.
I know that.
There's some and that's my song. And what happens is, but here's Milk. Here's the genius of Milk. While we upstairs, he writes this whole record. He writes this whole record and he runs upstairs like there's a fire downstairs. Y'all got to come downstairs and hear this. Y'all got to come downstairs and hear this. Y'all got to come downstairs and hear this. So we go down. He hits play. And he pretty much performs Top Billing the way you hear it today. And he ends it.
That is
rock until your breath is gone, right? And then he stops it.
Yeah.
He looks at us because he thinks that we think it's whack.
Oh wow.
He says, what do y'all think?
That's an iconic.
What do y'all think? And I'm like, yo, man, that might be the best shit I ever heard. So they look at me and they say, so what are we gonna do? Say that again.
I said it just kind of makes you think, like, man, like, because like how many times have those drums and shit been used?
Right.
How many times Milk's voice has been used from that song? Right. You know what I'm saying? Even 50 used, I get money, I got. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. The list goes on and on and on.
Yeah, so
and it's a fucking crazy iconic song.
So what we do is we do it. I said, they say, Daddy, what we gonna do? I said, we're gonna record it. We record it. And then they look at me and they say, so we're gonna take it into the big studio? I said, hell no, we keeping this on the 4-track. And so one of the that was recorded on a 4-track and mastered off a 4-track. One of the magic parts about Top Billing is that Top Billing is mastered from a 4-track. Yeah, that's the reason it sounds so good.
Probably why that sound is so fucking warm.
Yeah, it would have never
even
sounded
digital.
It would have never ever sounded like that if we did not keep it as raw as it was. We had to keep it.
That is. But my question was, and I think you answered it, but then you kind of went away from it. So you had already had the one joint already programmed. So then when you throw in, maybe you threw in another shit or something, because it happens, like I'll load something up and then fuck around and put the sample where the drums were in my machine, and it'll do something completely different. Is that what happened with the drums? Because
that's
the drums
exactly
is what everybody like.
That's exactly what happened. Like I said, I got a few good mistakes, but I have 2 great mistakes, and that and Ghost Etzer.
That's called serendipity, sir. That is called serendipity, sir.
It was just like you know, we knew we had it. I had already worked with Herb Powers, the mastering engineer, on a Stetsasonic record that was on our first album that he mastered from cassette, because we went in to try to remake it, and we went in to try to remake it, and it didn't turn out. It turned out horrible. Actually, it wasn't even halfway there.
Never does.
And Herbie looked at me.
So that's like the other part.
Yeah, he said, "Daddy, I can master from
the other
cassette."
part.
Like, really?
Oh wow.
So that,
there you go. See, all of you people out there listening right now, you should be taking heed to what he's saying, because see, a lot of this music, what you don't know, and I'm just going to give a little, if you don't mind, sir. I'm gonna give a little lesson myself. So like what he's saying about something being off of 4-track and me being excited and me saying, "Oh, crazy, that's off of 4-track." Now, with digital music, you lose a generation every time it's shared, every time it's given, every time it moves somewhere. And when I say lose a generation, it loses a generation of sound. Okay. And with digital, is way different than analog. Analog being is recorded on tape. Some of you kids don't know. I'm not talking about Scotch tape. I'm talking about audio tape. And so even by the time you hear Audio 2, or you hear a song that he's talking about that it was recorded on tape and then had to be mixed and mastered from that cassette tape, there's a level of sound on that tape that is not going to be lost ever. No matter what you do to it, it's not going to be lost. All this digital music nowadays doesn't have that. And that's also true when we talk about music having feeling, and we go back to the 60s, 70s, and all of that, when they had live people playing live shit, not taking away anything from anybody. But this is also what Daddy-O was talking about the feeling is more so lost in nowadays music. Did I overstep anything there, sir?
No, I think you're right. I mean, I was taught real early that, by Steve Att, God bless the dead, the great engineer Steve Att, that did most of Run's records, most of the BCs, a lot of LL's records. Steve Att, I remember one time going to the studio with Steve Att, and I had an 808 sound, and I'm looking at the meters, and the meters are going into the red, and he tells me, "Daddy-O, stop looking at the meters and close your eyes." He said, "It's about here, Daddy-O. Daddy-O, it's about this. It's about this, Daddy-O. Why are you looking at the meters?" And that's been my motto. That's been my MO ever since. If something has a certain feel on it, we keeping it. If something sounds a certain way and we know, we keeping it. If we know that this thing sounds good enough to make us feel the way that we need to feel, we are not going to go back in and replay nothing. We're going to keep it the way it is.
That's like being when being a producer. That's why a lot of producers make really great rappers. Black Milk being one of them. Like, Black Milk is amazing to me, and Black Milk is also an amazing rapper that can pretty much hold his own with anybody. Like, he's got songs with Black Thought that they go back and forth. It's just mad crazy. But I just have to ask, man, real quick, because this shit, to this day, since I was a youngin' watching Self-Destruction, because the video obviously moved a lot of people, you know what I mean? It did a lot of shit. But I always watched that video, even when it first came out, and I'm like, damn, there's that person, there's that person, there's this person, there's that person. And when you were going to be on the show, I thought to myself, I got to ask him, what the fuck were the shenanigans going on? Because you are all young people of color with some bread, popping. Everybody bally's, you know what I'm saying? You doing your thing, everybody dressed and impressed, ready to party. You know what I'm saying? Like, there had to be some like crazy shenanigans going on at that video shoot.
Not really. So when I talk about Self-Destruction, which I'm actually in the process of making Self-Destruction 2, which I'm calling Stop Self-Destruction this time. Self-destruction was interesting, but when I talk about self-destruction, I always say this. I love KRS-One for the movement. He already was working with the Stop the Violence movement. I love KRS-One for calling all of us and putting us all together to make that song. But I would be remiss and just whack, really, if I don't mention two people that really pulled this together, which was Nelson George and Ann Carly. Because Nelson George, between Nelson George and Ann Carly, this is the way this project actually got done. And it was like one of the reasons, people always ask me, yeah, Dario, you making records now. Why you think your peers are not making records? And I don't have all the answers, okay? But year after year, I learn more. I learn more, so I can answer better. And one of the things I've learned is that we're not around each other. So in the very beginning, we all are New Yorkers. We're gonna run into somebody at the rooftop or at Union Square or at the Latin Quarter. You're gonna run into people. You understand? But now, we're not together. Kane's in North Carolina. Daddy-O is in Houston. Pasta Noose is in Florida. Like, you know what I'm saying? Prince Paul's in Atlanta. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we're not around each other as much. So we didn't rub off of each other. We loved being around each other.
Right.
We just absolutely loved being around each other. So that's what the self-destruction was, kind of like being on tour together, times 100. Because even back then, you had like 3 sets of live performers. You had the top tier, like I told you, like the Run DMC, Beastie Boys, they at the very top. Then you had that mid tier, that's like us, LL, Public Enemy, etc. Boom. And then you had another group of people that was selling records, but only doing clubs. Heavy D did clubs, Salt-N-Pepa did clubs, Kid and Play did clubs. So to have like kind of everybody in one place was phenomenal. The only other gathering that was better was when we did that shoot that mimicked the Great Day in Harlem. Remember that shoot that Double XL did? And they did Gordon Parks. Great Day in Harlem, and had all the great Harlemites, and Double XL did that shoot again called A Great Day in Hip Hop. And it's like, you can find it on the internet, but it's like everybody, like Outkast is in it, and all the New Yorkers and all the LA people and all of that. That was the only other time that was that even felt better than that. But no, it was dope. I mean,
can I ask you something?
Go.
Can I ask you something, bro?
Yeah.
And be very honest with me, please. It's not what you think. You just chill out over there, little lady. I'm serious.
Okay.
There had to be like one asshole over there when you guys were filming Self-Destruction. Like one motherfucker had to be like, oh, he wants only red Skittles or something. Yeah, can somebody hold my fur? Because there had to be one. There wasn't one asshole.
No, we didn't have. We had none of that. We really, really had none of that.
Well, I will tell you this right now. First of all, I don't believe you. Secondly,
no, it's true.
We got an asshole in the building right now.
Flav was.
We got an asshole in the building right now. It's me.
Listen, Flav was quite the clown, but he wasn't an asshole.
But this is what I'm gonna say though. I know I'm an asshole at times. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, I have to ask you a question.
Here we go.
What do you mean? You heard of Beats by the Pound?
Yes.
That's directed to you, Daddy-O. You heard of it?
Yes.
Okay, so I know somebody who rated them in their top 3. No, was it top 3 or top 2?
It was. Listen.
Come on now.
Okay.
Wait, let me finish with my shit. Let me finish with my shit.
The engineer was in 5 or 10?
He don't know. He wasn't here.
He was.
5.
Okay. Thank you.
Fuck out of here. Anyways,
No,
no.
I don't even got my notebook.
Come on, can I talk to Daddy-O, please?
Damn, I wish I had my notebook.
Can I? I'm talking to Daddy-O, not
You should
you.
have brought the notebook.
Listen, so you should have brought your notebook. Yeah, be prepared.
Players fuck up all the time, you know.
Anyways, yeah, okay. So Beats by the Pound. So you've heard of them? Because I don't really know who they are, kind of, sort of, but you know who they are?
I have. I don't know
Or
them
were?
personally.
I should say
Yes,
were.
I have heard. Yep.
Good answer. You don't know them personally, because I don't know them personally either. But for somebody to give them a production, yeah, I don't give a fuck. They're not even in the top 10.
My disdain for you right now.
Yeah, but you know what though, bro? Like some of that stuff, like for instance, what you're saying, I can identify with what you're saying because I'm gonna give you a but I'm talking about from the other side. I'm gonna give you a Daddy-O-ism that's weird. Well, maybe not weird, but a Daddy-O-ism.
Run it. No, run it.
People say golden era. I say there had to be more than one golden era. Because people love to say, "Oh, golden era."
They weren't part of a golden era. They were part of the era.
People love to say golden era was me, Kane, Public Enemy, Light, Kid and Play, LL, etc.
Hope he come back in.
Right?
Oh shit. No.
And I get that. That is one golden era. But what the fuck do you call when one was putting out the Fireman tape?
My G, was it golden or was it plastic?
Shut up.
Copper?
The problem that we have is that you were frozen for most of that statement, so we couldn't even really hear what you were saying.
Oh no, what I'm saying
After
is
you
this.
said
I'm saying this. Am I good now?
Yeah.
I'm good now. All right, so this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I understand golden era. I understand when people say golden era, Stetsasonic, Public Enemy, LL Cool J, etc. Right? But then what do you call Ja Rule, Jay-Z, DMX era? Puns in that, bunch of people, Snoop's in that.
But we are not calling them Beats by the Pound. That's what we're not doing. We're not calling them
No, but
Beats
I'm
by
just
the
saying
Pound.
that it depends. I think some of it.
Ja Rule had 17 number one hits at some point. 17 number one hits. No, I'm just saying. I'm not trying to cut him off. I'm just saying Ja Rule had 17 fucking number one hits.
but you're not letting him get his point across. That's the problem.
Beats by the Pound had. No. That's it.
That's in your opinion, though.
Okay.
I mean, you know.
They also say that Mystical, but if you think about all the joints that were really done by Mystical that really made it, they were done.
You can't really talk bad
That's
about
still-
Mystical the Daddy-O though. You can't really talk bad about Mystical.
No, I'm not talking bad about Mystical. I'm talking about the production only.
And the example that he uses, that's everybody's response. Like
No, that's not
that
everybody's
is
response.
every time you bring up Mystical, people say the same thing to you. So what you trying to say?
No, I'm not trying to say anything. I'm trying to say that after Master P, what happened? His biggest hits were with Pharrell. That's a fact.
But the points that you are making have nothing to do with what
Oh,
I
I
said.
see. Now all of a sudden because Daddy-O here,
No,
Professor Daddy-O here. Now she's like, well, the points that you are making,
Anyone that
sir.
wants to watch
Now-
can go back and watch the episode. And you'll
I say it on every episode.
That's the good thing about technology is we can all go back and take a gander.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I'm gonna take that as a win on my side.
Delusional people.
That's what I do. I'm delusional. I'm an asshole. Daddy-O agrees with Heat Detector, and again, another L for you.
I was just about to say he didn't get to say how he felt, but
I mean,
You get it.
like I'm saying, like I think that we all have our day in the sun, and I
Absolutely.
think
I said that
when
too.
we talk about, you know what I'm saying. So when you talk about the same way, and this is real. The same way somebody might talk about Beats by the Pound is the same way other people might talk about Dungeon Family. Now, some people might
Nope, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Uncle Family's got too many hits.
You can't argue somebody's opinion.
Because they got too many
You
hits.
cannot argue people's opinion.
All right, you right.
Since we're on this subject, though, when we're talking about producers and things of that nature, let's talk about your love of sampling. I find your perspective on this ridiculously interesting.
Yeah.
Well, what I think is this: I get stoned for it, and I don't give a fuck. Like they, a lot of daddy-o shit, people be mad, but we are musical collage, right? I mean, let's think about early days of hip hop. You at a party, we're not making our own music. We're throwing on Apache. We're throwing on A Peace the President. We're throwing on Love Is the Message by MFSB, and we're getting on top of that shit, and we holding it. We killing it, okay? But that music is not really being made by us, right? They call me I've heard these statements. A lot of people like to call me the Forrest Gump of rap. And the reason is because I'm there. I don't know why God did this, but he puts me in certain places. So I was there when Marley Marl first found the sampler. So Tyrone Williams takes me to the Queensbridge Projects. He takes me to Marley's house.
The sample for what?
Sampling, period.
Oh, okay. Got you.
And he takes me to Marley's house, and Marley's jumping up and down. Tyrone, I can sample. And Tyrone said, "What the fuck are you talking about?" He said, "I could take a sound off the record and play it back." And Marley Marl has this little guitar pedal sampler, and that's what he made the Dimples D record with, and that's what he made the bridge with.
Wow.
No drum machines, nothing. He's triggering something with that little thing. Right. And so we've always been that. And I feel like when we disconnect, that's the word I'm looking for. When we disconnect ourselves from that art, because sampling is an art, I don't give a fuck what nobody say. When we disconnect ourselves from that art, right? When we disconnect ourselves from that art, we go crazy. And that's why Rick Ross records be sounding better than every fucking body else records be. Because these little niggas can say what they want. But then when Ross puts out a record, he slams all these little niggas to the ground.
You had me listening to Port of Miami the other day.
Crazy. Nuts.
All right. See, Daddy-O.
So I think that
because we're gonna fight on that one. We're gonna fight on that one.
Sonically though. He's right.
No, I'm just fucking with it. I agree. Maybach music and all that.
That's his, that's him just getting himself in trouble. He should have just been an artist. And, if he can't come to Chicago, that's his problem. He should. No,
I was just talking shit.
No, he should just be the musician. Look, if he just sit back and be the musician, he'd be okay. But come on, bro. Street gonna be the street anyway. Like the street don't give a fuck about that music shit, man. Not really.
Nah, not one bit. Not one bit.
That's part of the problem too. But you had made the distinction between I can't, forgive me for taking this out of context. I can't remember exactly what you said, but you were talking about that's why you would prefer a Just Blaze over a DJ Clue.
Yeah, because my thing is so it's a guy I love and hate, right? Dame Grease. Because I feel like Swiss Beats got all his shit from Dame Grease. That's what I feel.
Wow.
But when that tinny type of sound came in, where cats was just playing their own shit, I'm like, bro, I can deal with Stevie on the synclavier. I don't want to hear you play shit because you're not a musician. You understand? And when labels, I noticed when labels started saying, "Oh, come to us with no samples," I always, you know the record that really gets me, and the one I really pick on a lot, I pick on Lil Jon ass. When them records start coming out that sound like well,
yeah,
out of here with this bullshit. like, you know what I'm saying? But it worked, you know what I'm saying? But like, that's not gonna be as dope as, yo, if I had the acapella of the year right now and stripped it to Sylvia Strips and Give Me Your Love, it would be 2 times, 3 times dope.
Oh yeah. You talking about wait?
Yeah, that would be crazy. You understand what I'm trying to say? And I hate when we move away from the concept of being musical collage. We are not,
right.
In most cases, we have not been musicians, not that kind of musician. We're not
Right.
Stevie Wonder, we're not Miles Davis, we're not Jimi Hendrix, we're not Prince. I could keep going on, but we're not that. And I don't think that's anything to be ashamed of, because that's the way we started.
And I feel like we're cheating the younger generation, because I said a long time ago, I think that it should be our job to teach them how to love hip hop. And pulling that.
I mean, look. Big Energy is Genius of Love.
Say what?
I said Big Energy is Genius of Love.
Genius of Love was done by Tom Tom Club, but it was actually done by Talking Heads. The two chicks from Talking Heads.
But Lotto's big hit last year was Big Energy.
Oh yeah,
and that's Genius of
Big
Love.
Energy.
And it's
Genius
always
Love,
gonna be this. It's always gonna be the same. Nicki's big record right now is Rick James' record.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know it's not Hammer's record, because Hammer used the same record.
Yeah, they think it's MC Hammer. Right. Yeah.
But the bottom line is that. Say it again.
I'm just curious. If, hypothetically speaking, something crazy happened, right? All the music is destroyed, but you somehow are the only person that can just pick one record, and this is the only record you can sample from for the rest of your life. What record would that be?
Ooh.
Oh, that's easy. Songs in the Key of Life, Stevie Wonder. That's so easy.
Holy shit.
Oh my God.
Well, there you go.
That's so easy. Like, come on, man. What's better? Listen, you know what I tell my kids? I tell my kids, when I die, do not let people tell you that Michael Jackson or Prince was the best, because Stevie's the best by motherfucking far. You heard me?
Yeah.
You know what? I heard somebody. I heard an interview the other day. Morris Day did, and Morris Day had a very interesting perspective on why he feels that Prince is better than Michael Jackson. And he said because Prince could do it himself, but Michael Jackson needed Quincy Jones. But when you just threw that shit in there, Stevie ain't need no motherfucking body.
Nobody, bro. He played most of the drums on the records we like. Them Stevie records we love. That was Stevie playing the damn drums, yo.
Stevie
yo, you hear them drums on that girl? This nigga, Stevie's out of his mind. You know what I'm saying?
What about Stetsasonic? What about Stetsasonic against Ultramagnetic MCs? Who came first? Y'all.
I wanted that to be the verses, because they was talking to us, but Ultra doesn't have the catalog. I think it's the perfect.
But you know what they do? You know who they do have? Do I have to say his name? I said, you know who they do have?
Papa Lodge. Big shot.
No. My man's the Black Elvis Presley.
Yeah, Papa Lodge. Cool Keith.
Yeah. Cool Keith. Cool Keith is a savage.
Yeah, he's a savage.
Who the hell would y'all go up against?
I mean, we don't have. They've been talking to us, but there's nobody in that thing. Like PE got too many hits, so we can't really do the PE.
Right.
We can hang with them. We can hang with anybody, but we don't have the hits. The most, the most evenly cut across was Ultra.
Ultramagnetic. That's. I mean, like as a hip hop head myself, like even thinking about verses, I'm like, man, who would they go against? And it's like, Ultramagnetic. But then again, they don't.
We could do Kid and Play probably.
Yeah, but they're too fun. You know what I mean? That's not even fair.
They would look. Kid
Yeah,
Play
it's not even fair.
that'll be wrong for them. They'll look so whack.
That shit, motherfuckers ain't trying to watch y'all beat up Kid and Play. I mean,
Yeah.
they grown ass niggas right now. Still don't nobody want to see them get beat up.
I don't want to. I have all.
I'm just saying.
Play memories. I don't want none of that. That's weird.
Yeah.
Because I think my face the whole time.
Cause what y'all gonna do when they start clapping their feet together and shit? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
what? You know what I'm saying?
Watching right now.
Niggas might pull out leather gloves and start beating on them little boys, man. Come on.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying. I don't see that. Ultramagnetic, yeah, but then they'd have to pull on Kool Keith more than they could pull on anybody.
Yeah, Keith will have to do solo records.
Yeah, and then you guys would pull out other shit, and then at the key of it all, like shit, self-destruction would murder. If you just started the shit off of self-destruction, it just murders everything that they can probably play.
Yeah,
because you guys had 3 verses on that song more than anybody.
Yeah, we got more real estate on self-destruction than anybody else.
Yeah. I was telling that to my man today in Connecticut. I was telling him, I was like, "Yeah, man, fuck you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, it was on self-destruction, but," and I'm like, "No, nigga, they had like 3 verses more. They had more shit on there than anybody. It could have been all joint."
With stuff like that being said, like, do you feel your footprint on hip hop? Like, do you accept who you are? Like, do you feel like it's cemented?
So that's probably a 2-part answer. One is I'm starting to, and then the other answer is a reality check that I like to talk to my friends about, which is sometimes, like, people often ask me, yo, you think Stetsasonic gets the props that they should, especially people that Stet fans, they be like, man, they don't respect y'all enough. They don't respect y'all enough. And I tell people all the time, say, man, honestly, sometimes it's just in the song. Because did we make the show that Dougie Fresh and the Get Fresh crew made? Did we make Rock the Bells? Like, did we make Bring the Noise? Like, we made some great records, I agree. But whether or not they were those songs, it might not be. I look at Stetsasonic more like I look at Funkadelic. We're in a quiet taste. We're way ahead of our time.
Absolutely.
You listen to our music right now, it's very difficult to tell that music came out in the 80s. Our shit could play on the radio tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? We not locked into this whole, like, our shit don't sound like we made it. Maybe 2 records or 3 records sound like we made it in the 80s. But other than that, it's all full body sound, timeless music. Like, that's what we would do. So the gig is not up until the gig is up. My mama used to say it's not up, till Fat Lady sings, whatever people say. But the gig,
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, but the gig ain't up until the gig is up. So the Daddy-O shit is starting to be a little more cemented because now they starting to, through social media, they starting to realize some of the stuff that I did. You know what I mean? Like, they starting to realize that I was the first person to really get Biggie on records doing some fly shit and all of that.
Let's talk about that right quick, because that's been the burning question between myself, my co-host, and the engineer about something being said about you starting Junior Mafia and putting Biggie as the lead. Or did we touch that already? No.
So Big used to live around the corner from me. I used to live on Urban Place. He used to live right over there on St. James. I used to see Big all the time. But I had a couple of friends, my man Just and my man Un, and they used to come see me. And then Un found out that I had a studio, and he came to me and said, yo, Daddy, yo, you know how Big be yelling Junior Mafia? We could make a group. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, we can make a group. I'm like, a group with who? You know what I'm saying? Because Big, I knew from the first time I heard him, like, this nigga nice. But, like, who else? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't even see nobody competing with this kid. This kid was nice, B. And they was like, oh, it's a couple of them. It's a couple of them. He got this kid Clep from Flatbush. we can make C's and them rhyme. We can get them to rhyme. Ray Sean and them can rhyme a little bit. And Big got this girl that be coming in from the Bronx. This girl Kim, she could rhyme. I was like, all right, cool. So Un had this idea for Junior Mafia, which was just something that Big was shouting out on records because it was just a crew that was hanging out with him to make them a group. And so we took them in my studio and we made a whole bunch of demos and ended up getting the deal. You know what I'm saying? But the only one that I would say this, no disrespect to nobody else, but I'll say this. The only rappers was Kim and Clep. The nigga Clep is nice because that's where the whole rhyme. I actually put it out a few years ago. It might be 10 years now though. That's where the rhyme for Players Anthem came from.
Oh wow!
A record
like
called
the concept
Steal
and everything. Players Anthem?
Yeah, we had a record called Steal and Rob that Clep had wrote that my man Latif produced.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't know? Go Steal and Rob. We got that from the Slick Rick joint. That was the hook. And that's why he says I'm surrounded by criminals, heavy rollers, even the shot. First time he ever rhymed that, he rhymed it in my studio.
Wow.
And the ill part about that day was he's sitting in the lobby of my studio. I'm getting the beat together. And then Un looks at me and say, yo, D, he ready. And I said, he ready for what? He said, he ready to rap. I said, where's his pad? He said, D, the nigga don't write. I said, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Because I don't know that. Like, I don't.
Right.
He said, D, he don't write. Now I'm on some, okay, haha, the joke's gonna be on you niggas. Come in the booth.
Right.
This nigga gets
Show ass in the booth.
I'm surrounded by criminals, heavy rollers. Runs the whole rhyme. He only made one punch because that line with the Run DMC was something else. And he said, no, I got something better. Punch me in. And that's when he did that. I've been robbing niggas since running and was yelling, here we go. You know what I'm saying? Because he had something else. But I was amazing. You know what I'm saying? But then later, like none of the demos, besides for the Backstabbers record that I did on Kim, made the Junior Mafia album. And he ended up, because Big is was definitely he's very much like Melly Mel, which they regurgitate rhymes crazy. Because Melly Mel used that A Child Is Born rhyme 3 times on record. 3 times on 3 different records.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Child Is Born.
And Big used that, came back, did that on Players Anthem. And then if you listen to Biggie did a record with Michael Jackson and did a record with Shaq, and he used the same rhyme. So it was, but anyway, yeah. But that was the story behind Junior Mafia. It was Un's brainchild, which I always say, man, if people knew the real idea for Junior Mafia, and if it would, man, I don't know who would be standing right now. Because Un is a fucking genius, bro. I'm telling you, he is.
Well, I would say you're a genius as well. I would say 100% you're a genius. Well, and I would say
the idea that he had for Junior Mafia in the beginning and what we ended up doing is 2 totally different things, because everything just happened so fast. Like, everybody was blowing up, and so we couldn't do a lot of that. We didn't, what we wanted to do, we couldn't do.
Right, but back to your genius. And have you just in my thoughts right now, interviewing you, Daddy O, man, and again, man, completely humbled and for so many reasons, I feel like I just got put in my place, because I'm a real hip hop head, and I be clowning motherfuckers, I be saying shit, but I really feel like you know what I'm saying, a motherfucker that put me in my place, kind of, sort of. I'm not gonna agree with it all the way, but kind of, sort of. But it's there because you have all these stories and everything. It's kind of like watching Drink Champs with Nori, and Nori's got all these amazing stories, and I have to believe that you've got a million more amazing stories than Nori could ever even dream of. And like that, like you're a living historian. You're a living documentation of something that we all love that has not been put out there and that has not been shared. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, like, do you have anything in the works for something like that, like a
Well,
documentary
we
or?
talking about. I mean, there's a few things we want to do. Like me and my little team. My team is small, but me and my little team. There's a few things we want to do. So one of the things we want to concentrate on this year is we want to put a little bit more concentration on the speaking gigs. Right? I call them speaking gigs, but you know, lectures, whatever the hell you want to call them.
Yeah.
We want to put a more concentration on that because we feel like not only do I have some things to say, but with this being Hip Hop 50, there's a whole lot of things that I can expose about hip hop that I hate to say this, but I'm gonna say it, that legitimizes hip hop. See, I'm a lover of hip hop. So it's a little different for me than it is other people because a lot of people cannot defend this culture intellectually. They could talk about rapping. They could talk about some of the things that they've done. They could talk about some of the things that they've been involved in, but actually standing up and being able to defend us, they haven't had that ability. So that's one of the things. And then the other thing, you know, we kind of trying to figure out like what that looks like. Is it a 8-episode documentary? Is it a podcast? Is it so we still trying to figure out kind of like what that is. Like my team has had me even go in the studio in front of a green screen, doing some of the stories. Like I was there with the night Pop got shot. Like it's a whole bunch. I'm telling you, I've been in some places like ill. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they've had me.
Say this to you real quick. Just a little quick thing. When you decide you're gonna do that, and you know, your little hip hop, not your little hip hop thing, but your hip hop documentary series or whatever it's gonna be, keep in mind Unwrap, because we would love to just sit back and just be like, you know what I'm saying? Hey, let her talk her shit. Let me be crazy. Let me go. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to put us out there, man. You know, it ain't gonna hurt but to ask, because the only thing you can tell me is no, I've heard no all my life.
Yeah, and you know closed mouths don't get fed, so you're in the right place, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you know, so we trying to, you know, we figuring out kind of what to do with that. We know part of it is gonna be part of like this new self-destruction movement, because one of the things we want to do with that is trace the non-violent origin of hip hop to now. Because
that has been a question that I've always like. I think you and I spoke about this on the phone, because I've had this thought in my head and had arguments with other people that are real hip hop heads and shit. You know, I even sometimes hate saying hip hop head, but you know, we love this shit. This shit saved my motherfucking life, and it's like, so where did it go from being like? How do we know that it started like getting violent here when there was violence in the beginning of it and everything? But at some point it did change, and who do we blame? Do we blame the flashiness because everybody was wearing Bally's and big gold chains and everything? Is that part of it? Maybe. Is it the deaths of?
I think it's a few things. But one thing I definitely point out that a lot of folks don't talk about is people say, "Oh, you know, hip hop changed, blah 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 blah." One of the things that people don't point out is a piece of technology, which is the Sony Walkman.
Right.
Because if you remember, I can ask you, what did we have prior to the Sony Walkman?
Well, boombox. That's brilliant. That shit costs a lot. You had batteries. You had to keep batteries.
Boombox made it communal. A boombox made it so communal that if you was playing, like I told the story once. I said, you know, I remember I had this rhyme. You know, fucking disgusting rhyme. My name is Daddy O, and I'm down by law, and you can suck my ass with a crazy straw, right? When we had a boom,
wait.
Listen, When we had a boom
I
box,
bet-
you could not play that if Miss Mamie was coming down the street. You could not play that
Right,
if
got
Miss Irene was coming down the street. You understand? You might put it back on
Right.
after she got upstairs, but it was communal.
right,
When the Sony Walkman came, it went in everybody's ears, and now it was a privatized situation. So now
got personal.
that thing that actually had some space to it, a time for it to happen, could now happen over and over. And so I think it
Right.
started there. I think it started there with the privatization of the of parents not being able to hear what their kids was listening to, you know, all of that kind of stuff. Because I don't think that hip hop was supposed to be something that it never. Hip hop didn't start off as something that our parents didn't know about. It didn't start off like that. It wasn't no damn secret.
No, yeah.
We doing this shit over here. Our parents knew we was doing it. Now, yeah, did we
Right.
sneak into a couple of clubs? Yeah. Did we smoke a little herb? Yeah, whatever. But I'm saying it wasn't something that our parents didn't know about. It started being something that our parents didn't know about when it went in our ears, and now they couldn't hear it at all. So I think that's the very,
Right.
very beginning of it. You know, some people, you know, point the fingers at people like NWA, you know, all of that type of stuff. I don't know if I would go that far. What I will say is
No.
that concept that I spoke about earlier in the show about absentee fatherism started real early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
We
then
stopped-
that's a whole other.
Yeah, we stopped paying
That-
attention to our hip hop kids real early, you know, because what
Yeah.
Public Enemy and the Bomb Squad and Spectrum City did with Ice Cube, people should have been doing with everybody.
Oh my God! One of the America's Most Wanted is
People should have been doing
classic.
it with everybody, and that's not what happened. People began to start recording in vacuums, doing things in vacuums. So yes, I might have been one of the few people that had relationships with people like MC Breed and Shy D out of Atlanta or whatever, but it wasn't a whole bunch of that going on. And when it began to be separated, some of these cats didn't know what else to talk about. Like some of my favorite rap music comes from Houston. Some of my favorite rap music comes from Oakland. They didn't know what else to talk about. You know, you listen to them get
Right.
40 of them had to make, you know, Game Related by the Click. You know,
Right.
number 2. That's my number 2 album. Game Related by the Click.
Ryan Cole.
You know,
Come on, man.
I remember when the world was crazy back in 1985. You know what I'm saying? I remember when rock cocaine used to be a rich man. They had to talk about what was coming from them.
What they do?
You know what I mean? But it was vacuums. You know, 40 and them was recording the vacuum. 40 ain't meet me till 2002, 2003. You understand what I'm trying to say? So what happens is, you know, same thing with UGK making Riding Dirty or Mystical making The Mind of Mystical. There was no connection with the root of what was going on. So yes, they knew how to rap because they heard other people rap. They also had to talk about what's going on in the neighborhoods, but then you know that happened. And then the other thing is, I don't often point my finger at record companies, but I will say this about record companies. You know, when anything gets commercial or mass manufactured, you know, people, they just going for the money at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
You know, so that's why I say absentee fatherism started real early, because who else was going to be there? We can't look at Warner and say, oh yeah, Warner Brothers is going to take care of it. Oh, Sony's going to take care of it. oh, Polygram or Universal is going to take care of it. They wasn't going to take care of it. I used to be an A&R at MCA Universal. I remember Hank, because Hank Shockley was my boss. I remember Hank and them meeting with Al Teller and them that was at the top of the chain, and they had no idea who Mary J. Blige was. They just was looking at the numbers. So they don't.
Yeah, that's all that matters at that. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can't blame them. You know, these are people just like if me and you was gonna sell tires. We're gonna do what we gotta do to sell the tires that we gotta sell. So you can't blame them. But the people internally, we didn't make any moves. We didn't make any moves toward leadership, all of those type of things. So a lot of times, and you know, like I said, I get in trouble about it all the time. I point it back to us. And people look at me and say, oh, no, it wasn't y'all. It was the record company. Oh, it was this one. Oh, it was that one. But what the fuck did I do? Like, I'm trying to do something now, but what did I do then? I'm seeing this thing go off the rails, right? I'm seeing this thing go off the rails. What am I doing? Nothing. What is Melly Mel doing? Nothing. What is Kumo D doing? Nothing. And that is an issue within itself that gets me in trouble every time. But and here's my plea to my peers. Absentee fathers have come back into kids' lives and made a difference.
Thank you.
Heard what I said? They have said.
Thank you. Yeah, no, that man. Yeah, you just brought it all full circle. Full fucking circle.
It's like if I was locked up, all I could do is come back and say, I'm sorry. You know, I made a bad mistake. You know what I'm saying? This guy got on my nerves. I shot him. I ain't know that belly shot was going to take him to his grave, but it did. They got me for manslaughter. They didn't get me for first degree or second degree. They got me for manslaughter, but I still had to do 17 out of that 25. But now I'm back home. I've been reading in jail. I've been trying to be a better man. I want to be in your life, daughter, or I want to be in your life, son. And it might take some prying because they might not in the beginning accept me. They might say, oh man, fuck you. You really messed up my life. You know what kind of life I had with my mama and da-da-da-da. But you know what? If you keep pleading and you show that you worthy of it and all that, ultimately the kid says, okay, I'll give you a shot. I saw that happen on a show I was watching. That's that new Sylvester Stallone show, the Tulsa King.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that's
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, fuck with that shit.
Yeah, and that's what happened with him and the daughter, right? The daughter in the beginning, she ain't want to hear nothing from him, but he kept trying and exactly. So that's what I'm saying. It's like the elders. I said this to you on the phone. I said, elders in societies have always been the anchor. Hip hop, in America has such a commonality in this area because America has now started taking their cues from young folks who shouldn't even fucking be talking, like Don Lemon and that idiot that hosted the fucking Grammy. I don't want to hear from you, little nigga. You know what I'm saying? I don't. You too young for me to take cues
Talk your shit,
from.
Daddy.
You know what I'm saying? You too young for me to take cues from. So it's the same thing with hip hop now. The people that's speaking for it are not old enough to speak for it. Yeah, I said it. You are not old enough to speak for hip hop. But you also can't be the corny uncle at the fucking barbecue.
Say that shit again.
Gonna clown you. Niggas gonna clown you. They're gonna say, look at what Unc got on. Look at that t-shirt he got on with big letters across that. These little niggas running around with the Balenciaga and all that. They gonna think you phony. Up to these
what big Unc got that Bluetooth in his ear for?
I let these little niggas know in a finger snap, nigga. We could surround this block and make all of y'all be quiet right now, and all of us over.
Say that one more motherfucking time, son.
You know what I'm saying? We don't. I don't know who y'all think y'all are here, but you're not that here. You may be that in school or wherever you are. You may be that, but not here.
Not here.
You know what I'm saying?
But does that make you sound like a mad old head?
No, I think that we should be.
No. I'm just posing the question.
I think we should be confident old heads. I think that sometimes we need to be gangster old heads. You understand?
True.
We need to be teaching whole heads, because the bottom line is that when you walk, listen, I'm 5'4", but when you walk past one of them little niggas and pat them on their kidney and that thing that make them go like that, they know who you are.
Yeah.
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 You know what I'm saying?
That's
They
what-
know.
that's what big
Yeah, we gotta
Said good
step
game.
that up, though. We all gotta step that up. You know what I'm saying? We really, really, really gotta step that up. And then, here's another thing I say, and I get bombed for this too. You niggas ain't rhyming right. So if you niggas ain't rhyming right, and you known as a rapper, okay, let's be clear. The only reason you even got a name is because you was rapping.
Facts.
And if you
Or
only
called it rap.
hold on to, it's only a handful of us that got some kind of timeless kingship. Rakim falls in that category. G-Rap falls in that category. Chuck almost losing his shit. Chuck is almost losing his shit. You know what I'm saying? But not all of us fall in that category, because some of the things that we made in the past are not so timeless. Right?
Right.
But you come in 2023 and you talking that shit. Yo, hold on. Let me show you shit I just did. I just did this joint with Y. Me and Wise just did this joint.
You and Wise?
Me and Wise. I don't know if I'm gonna put the light on that, because we got this new Stead album. Some of the stuff is like two of the guys, whatever. You know what I mean?
Well, be easy then. You don't want,
No, but what I'm saying is,
we don't need another Sonic breakup.
Oh, it ain't gonna be no breakup. I ain't even worried about that. But my thing is, if you're not rhyming, I'm gonna just say this right. This is what I'm trying to say. I'll be 62 on Monday.
Oh, my man.
Okay.
Happy birthday. I'm gonna call you on your birthday, goddammit. I feel like shit. I can call you.
Look. Known for handling styles you can't handle. Battling me is a gamble. Grab you by the seat of your pants. I told you that my methods enhanced. I told you I would get the last dance. All the while I was putting people on, looked around and the loyalty was gone. But I ain't lose steps after certain people counted me out. And now you got stet all in your mouth. You bite motherfucker. You really thought I couldn't see you copying the things that I do and telling everybody it was you. And now you on stage with a band. When the fuck was that in your plans? My whole squad gelling. We about to hit the stage tonight. And after that, Barclay see Javon to fight. So when you see Stetsasonic, we the Knights in white. Me, Wise, Paul, Bobby, and Delight. Bitch.
Okay. See, can we get some okay.
Well.
So I think motherfuckers been put on notice.
What I'm saying is
that's
that
what I'm
you gotta flow, like you gotta flow for them. Like as much as your wrists need to be right, and you might have on the right shirt or whatever, right pants or whatever, you gotta flow too. And when you flow, then they back down, because it's no way I'm gonna be around Gunna or T Grizzly or any of them little niggas. When I'm around them little niggas, I'm gonna be like, yo, let's have a cipher.
Right. Oh no, that's not happening. That's not happening.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say, and that's where the rubber hits the road, and they have to come to grips with what I'm talking about. They got to come to grips with it.
Right.
You understand what I'm trying to say? That's all I'm trying to say. And the music is the first introduction for us. The music is the doorway for us. If we can't get in that way, we're not going to get in. Because they're not going to get in just because we some talking head and because we saying something here and we saying something here. Everybody want to go viral from some shit. Nigga, go viral on a rhyme, nigga. Let me see you go viral on a music video, nigga. You over 60. Do some shit, man. Because the bottom line is that Jimi Hendrix wouldn't be sitting here not doing some shit. Prince, if he was still alive, would be doing some shit. Miles Davis proved it because his last album was produced by Easy Mo B.
See, stop playing.
So
y'all better listen, man.
They and that's the problem. That's the only problem, bro. The only problem is that we don't step up to the plate when it comes down to, y'all could call it the rap shit, the hip hop shit, what y'all give your name, but we don't step up to the plate for that. And now it's even with the hip hop 50 thing, right? One of the claims that we making, me and my team, for the hip hop 50 is we doing something right now for hip hop 50. We putting this Stop Self-Destruction project together right now for hip hop 50. We're talking about doing something right now. We're not saying, you know, we're not disrespecting 1973 and 1520 Cedric Avenue, but we also not coming in here like, oh, this is who we are, this is what we've been. We saying this is what we doing now. Do some shit, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Do some. They don't want to do nothing, man. They want to sit around, rap them old lyrics, which is cool because a lot of them sound still good. A lot of them still sound good, but
do a little tour here and there.
Yo,
pay the bills, keep the lights on.
How dope would it have been if the Furious Five would have came on the Grammy with a brand new routine to a fucking Billy, because you know how back in the day, Cold Crush and all of them, when they used to do the routines, they used to do them to like to pop songs, really, mostly pop songs. Kaz is real good at this. He would find Billy Joel shit and all of that. If they was doing some shit to a Billie Eilish fucking melody or whatever, but we still would flash on the beatbox though.
Like a mashup.
Yo, son, that's what they looking for, bro. And that's what our fans are looking for too, because we don't. Here's one of the things I love about making records nowadays. I give my fans, I'm talking about people, I would say 38 plus, let's say some of them are a little older than that, but let's say 38 plus, I give them bragging rights in the car. Because when they throw that daddy-o shit on, they kids be like, who's that? And they be like, that's a guy from my time. I said, but it don't sound old. You say, exactly. That nigga's 62, and he'll still smoke your favorite fucking rapper. You know what I'm saying? We don't give our fans no bragging rights, because what happens? No, and this no disrespect to Sally talking all that jazz. Africa, we made some good records, bro. And there's a place for all of that. There's a place for all of that. I'm not saying don't play those old records, but what I'm saying is that if he got a brand new I Will Wait For You from Future, a brand new Last Night featuring Roddy Ricch that they gonna play, because my thing is this: who controls the Bluetooth in the car? That's my whole thing. Who controls the Bluetooth in the car?
That would be me when I'm driving. Don't touch that fucking radio. You listening to what I'm saying?
But a lot of people don't, brother. You don't understand. You're an anomaly. You are an anomaly in America. Because these kids, they have bullied their parents to owning the Bluetooth, and on top of that, now the parents.
Mine actually listen to the shit that I listen to. My son makes beats. He's grown up in the studio from a baby, legitimately from a baby. And when she was working and I had a session, I'd have to be sitting there with him like this, trying to keep him quiet while I'm working my little 8-track recorder. You know what I'm saying? And so he grew up to getting to a point where he's got headphones on. Now he wants to start touching shit. You know what I mean? And so like when he's 24, he just turned 24, And when he talks to his peers, and he be talking about, you don't know about Stetsasonic, you don't know about Big Daddy Kane, you don't know about he just be dropping gems on him, and they be like, I never heard of this, man. You must be like, what, your dad an old head, he bad at everybody or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, but then when he lets them hear the shit, they go, oh fuck. You know what I'm saying? Let me give you a quick story. My son got he was in kindergarten or third grade or something. He got in trouble for not paying attention in class, right?
Right.
So my punishment to him was he had 3 days to memorize just to get a rep from Gangstar.
Wow.
And he had to spit it to me. Wow. He had to spit it to me a cappella without fucking up. And if he fucked up, then he was going to be grounded for a fucking month and a half. No TV, no nothing.
That's why he loved that music. That's crazy. Because that song gets to you, bro.
Yeah.
That song gets to you. Yeah. But that, I mean, but like I said, you're an anomaly, though. You're an anomaly. A lot of parents, they in submission to what happens, and they play it off like, oh yeah, you know, they young, let them do their thing. And I'm not saying don't let them do their thing, because I know the new music too. My whole thing is that I try to make music. Like I said, when I first started doing this, 2016, when I picked up the mic again, I was like, I told my partner Lion, that's down with me in the label, I was like, yo, I don't really make records for the kids. I'm making it for their parents. I'm still making it for their parents, but as the time moved along, I started listening to some of the stuff they was doing, and I'm like, okay, so that's how y'all want to go? So I'm gonna go there, but I'm gonna go there on another level. Like I'm always sitting on like 4 albums, so I got like 4 albums finished that ain't even out. I might drop one more this year. But I did this record because I listened to what Drake was doing. See how they doing it with the little filters and all of that. But the one thing they don't have, and this no disrespect to them, they don't have the experience. So they can't talk that shit I talk because they never been there. So even if I go gangster, my gangster is a totally different gangster.
Motherfucking gangster.
Yeah, you have no idea what it's like.
When I preach out with some of these young kids, they be looking at me like when they think they want to cipher. You know what I'm saying? And I started spitting my shit because I'm really spitting from up, and I'm not trying to big me up or nothing, but I'm really spitting from an era and everything that, you know, I didn't have to live it because I was trying to get likes. I had to live it because I had to live. I had to eat. I had to shit. You know what I'm saying? So when I say these things, I'm saying it from a different perspective. Do I embellish sometimes? Yeah, because I ain't never killed nobody. Not that I know of. You know what I'm saying? Let me just say, when I say not that I know of, I didn't even really mean that. So let's just clear the air on that. Again, I reiterate, I've never killed anyone.
We have read the disclaimer earlier. Also,
entertainment, please.
Refer back to that.
Fuck out of here.
You know,
but you know, I do have an experience from that level of something, and when they hear me spitting, they go, "What the fuck is he talking about?" They're like, "Oh shit, he sound like Griselda." No, I don't sound like Griselda. I was doing this shit before Griselda.
No, Griselda sounds like you.
Thank you. I was living that life, man. I got pictures. When my kids see pictures of me with the chain and everything, they go, "What the fuck?"
So you understand my pain when I'm not getting that from Kane, when I'm not getting that from Slick Rick, when I'm not getting that from you understand. G-Rap's still out there doing this thing because you know him and Alchemist.
I love G-Rap.
Actually, he did a record with Alchemist last year. That record hard, yo.
I know. I'm doing my best to try to get G-Rap on this show, man. Because I fucks with G-Rap, man. Like for a long time.
G-Rap gets it in, but you know, a lot of cats won't. And again, man, you know, I said this earlier, and I'll say it again. I think the solo stuff is not gonna move the needle for me, but I think the Stetsasonic stuff will move the needle because because you know, the reaction that I get from the dad. You see, so I'm super duper, accepting of the stuff, the reaction I get from the Daddy-O stuff. I am an
Right.
acquired taste. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But I am so happy with the response that I get from the Stet stuff. Because it'll be people who haven't said nothing about nothing that I did for like 4 years. But then they'll see some Stet stuff, and then they'll be like, they'll say something. You know, for instance, I was talking to Shaq Kim.
We need some of that Stet gear too, by the way. We'll put that shit on.
Oh, yeah. I'll get you some.
That Stet shit. I like that. I like that shit. It kind of reminds me of the Run DMC, old school Run DMC shit, but you know, made newer and cleaner, if I could say that.
Yeah, you know, we always did the yellow and black from the On Fire album, and then we did a couple of joints. My man did another shirt with the cover to the, it's like the cover info gear on the shirt, but it's kind of dope. I actually the video I got a video I'm you know, which is cool now. Like I say, I'm shooting a video, right? I shot some scenes, but you know, digital, I could shoot some scenes and then wait 2 weeks and shoot some more scenes.
Right.
So I'm shooting a video now for the song I got Intangibles. It's on that joint. And we got the hoodies, and we're working on some other stuff. We've been talking to some people about some velour suits, man.
Bring the velour back.
We met a cat in North Carolina, man, that do like that real slick.
I can never rock velour because I'm more of a jeans hoodie, you know what I'm saying, cap type of guy. But I always admire the guys that could rock a fucking velour suit and make that shit happen. You know what I'm saying? I could never pull it off. I'd look like a sloppy ass Italian. But I got a question for you.
Yes,
I look like and I got, you know, spaghetti stains and shit all on my shit. Yeah, I'd be all fucked up. Who in the fuck is Sally?
Hey,
Sally. Sally is fictitious, but so Sally's fictitious because the song came from the Dyke and the Blazers sample. That there's a song Dyke and the Blazers got that's called "Gotta Let a Woman Be a Woman and Let a Man Be a Man," and then he got that. Some people don't like the way Sally walks, so that's where we got that hook from.
Oh, okay. So Sally didn't do the whole crew. Sally did not do the whole crew.
The ideology of Sally, though, is maybe, you know what, it's interesting. You're in Chicago, so maybe they understand. So people in the hundreds understand this. Definitely people that was like in buildings like Cabrini Green before they went down. In the projects, there's this girl, and she got this walk, right? And a lot of times you see that walk on Saturday morning when she going to the laundry for her mom. You know what I'm saying? Because her mama say do the laundry, her mama's still in the bed. So she come out a little more scantily clad than she would if her mama was looking.
Right.
And she by herself.
Yeah.
And she knows
we all in front of the building.
And she a little fast. That's what the word would be from back in the day. She a little fast.
Yeah, and she know we looking. So
that's all. She a little fast.
So
fast.
She practicing.
So yeah, that's that walk, man. It's you know, it's not STINK, it's STANK.
Word.
Right.
Word.
So just so I know for clarity, because you're breaking my heart right now. No girl did the whole crew.
I can't. I please. Plausible deniability is the name.
Take the fifth, man. Take the fifth. And I will be happy. I will sleep with a smile on my face tonight. So a girl did do the whole crew. He didn't say she didn't, and he didn't say she did.
Just no one did. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
I don't know. I just got this Sally in my mind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And me being the leader that I am, I'd be like with the whole crew. I'd be like, yo, she like us. She like us. What the fuck? They're a whole band. You can't like the lead singer.
Susie,
It's a whole band.
Susie is more that subject that you're talking about. Susie is more that subject than Sally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
If you listen to the lyrics, you know, because that we got it from that the boy Rick James produced. What was his name? That she's just a groupie.
Oh yeah. I can't think of it. Yeah. She's just you got the computer right in front of your face. Google it.
Oh, damn. We don't tell nobody about
She's
that.
sitting with her hands on top of it like an armrest. Jesus. See, this is what I got to deal with. You know what I mean? But it's okay. She likes beats by the pound, so I expect that she's like slightly slow.
I've been real calm and diplomatic. I ain't cut you out. Don't wake her up.
Anyways.
Don't wake her up.
Did you find it?
I am working on it.
Look, Daddy already got his phone. He gonna find it before you.
I mean, should have hope so, because goddammit.
It should be in the top of my brain.
Yeah. Look, everybody. Okay, so I got another story. Everybody want to get this cold ass. Nah, I ain't got shit.
Damn.
Bobby Nunn.
Bobby Nunn. There it is.
Nunn.
I didn't want to say it because I wanted y'all to look it up.
Yeah. Bobby
I get
Nunn.
tired of flexing.
But Rick James produced the joint. I remember that.
Rick James produced a lot of shit. How much shit have you produced that people out there don't know that your production skills were behind it?
I'm actually starting to post them. Like a lot of people don't know I made like those songs on Third World. I made Forbidden Love, but I did two others on the album. A lot of people don't know that I worked on Love Shack with the B-52s.
Nice. Yeah, I like that.
I worked on I worked on Higher Ground with the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Nice.
I worked on what's the name of the song I did with They Might Be Giants, Istanbul, but Istanbul, not Constantinople. They Might Be Giants. You know, Queen Latifah real early. You know what I'm saying? Me and her did the pros together.
So it wasn't 45 King that did all this shit?
No, he didn't do everything. Me and Prince Paul worked on Wrath of My Madness as well. We both did.
Wow.
I was just thinking of a record. Eka Mouse, Eka Mouse is a pretty big reggae artist. I work with him. I produced and wrote for Jeffrey Osborne.
Wow.
Vesta Williams, God bless the dead. I work with Vesta.
Wow.
And then then there's I gotta make a playlist of it. Like there's a bunch of songs that I did that are like the artist was not that popular, but like I love the songs. Like I work with this band out of Australia called Big Pig. The songs that I did on them were fucking crazy. Like I'm talking about crazy. I did this song called I can't remember, but I work with Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones. I did Big Enough with him.
Big flex.
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of people. And then of course, Biggie, Lil' Kim, Mary J. Blige, Daddy Freddie out of London, another reggae artist. I think I did every kind of music except for folk music. I still want to do some folk. I've never done any folk, but I've pretty much done rock.
Tracy Chapman.
I don't know about that. We had a bad experience with her. She was an asshole, fucking asshole.
Oh wow! Oh, Tracy Chapman, the little Tracy Chapman, the big asshole.
She was a dickhead, straight dickhead.
It's Tracy Chapman. You heard it first right here on Unwrap. Tracy Chapman, you're a dickhead. All right, we're gonna leave it at that, girl. Live with it. Yeah. So like we rolling on 2 hours and damn near 20 minutes, man. You good still?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm about to get in there and some of that food she made in a minute. I brought some. I got some fish. So she did some fish and a couple other little things
All
rolled
right,
around
so
in that.
we'll go ahead and what man, this has been a fucking like
An honor.
a fucking honor. We are so much like on some gratitude shit, my man, like on some humble shit, you know, real humility over here, man. I really honestly believe that. Go ahead, bro.
I say it all the time. I need y'all, like, because like I said earlier to you, off camera, Black radio failed us. They really, really did. And so,
They still are.
you know when I knew Black radio failed us? I'm gonna tell you, and not that I didn't know it before, but I'm gonna tell you when I really knew it, brother. Last year, Toni Braxton, which I say, you know, maybe she's not one of our queens. If you're gonna call Aretha a queen, and you're gonna call Natalie a queen, and you're gonna call, you know, Patty a queen, so maybe she's our princess.
She's not there.
Maybe Toni Braxton's like a princess. But
Yeah,
Toni Braxton did an album last year with Babyface. And fucking Black radio did not play the fucking record.
That's insane.
In what world, my brother? In what world?
Yeah. And you remember Tony Terry from back in the day? He got mad projects and shit. He's still touring it and had no fucking idea.
Yeah.
None of that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We love you over here. We love you over here, bro.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, if we don't have outlets like y'all's, we don't have no damn outlets. You know what I'm saying? We just don't have outlets, which is like, it on one level, it's the most incredible thing in the world. Like, we have an outlet, and on the other side, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the least they could do is put y'all on the radio. You know what I'm saying? At least, you know what I'm saying? At least we still have an outlet like who y'all. Like, okay, now y'all got y'all spot, so that gets us. But like they just, it's weird, yo, bro. I'm not gonna lie, it's weird to me. It's very weird to me,
and it's weird to me.
Yeah, it's no way in the world like that should be that way, and there should not be some stuff, and some shows can't be specialized to at least be dedicated to something, and it's just like this is all, you know.
Even
the playlist is 13 songs, maybe songs.
Yeah, even with like some of these rap reality shows and shit that are coming out, why they don't have real rappers on there as judges? You know what I'm saying? Why, like, see this like that Netflix show, Flow, what is it? Flow something?
I don't know.
I called it from day one that my guy from Inglewood was gonna win. I told my daughter, I said, as soon as that dude came on, I said, he's gonna win this shit. And he's gonna win it hands motherfucking down. Because what he did was he took a lot of old school shit. He embodied everything. You know what I'm saying? While a lot of them were trying to do a lot of other shit. And no disrespect to none of them, because they're all, I think, great artists in their own right. Actually, I think the one kid got kind of robbed, the Puerto Rican kid from Connecticut. I don't remember his name at the moment. I was just listening to his shit. He's a great lyricist, man. He knows how to put his shit together. But my man's that won it. I don't know why I can't remember his name right at the moment, but I know fucks with his shit.
Lady London came out of that group too.
Yeah, Lady London. Yeah. But you know, it just baffles me why, you know, they had Snoop on there, but you know, I nothing against Snoop, but you know, sometimes they just got to put certain faces, I guess, into certain shit. And Snoop is a whole brand right now.
And then they don't take, and then a lot of times they don't take the chances because, you know, there is something to getting names and faces. Yeah, there's something to that. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You know, you get somebody popular, you put them in as a brand ambassador or whatever. A lot of times that will attract people to your platform or whatever it is you're trying to do. However, most of the things that we love, especially in entertainment, we only love them because people took chances. You know what I mean? And when they took those chances, those things ended up being loved. There wasn't, you know, if you look at what 50 is doing right now, 50 is taking a whole bunch of non-actors and making them popular. Because Meth is just okay. Mary sucks. Lil Meat's son is fucking horrible. You know what I'm saying? But
I want to make you a pound cake.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, please.
She want to bake you a cake now.
Yeah, please do. I'll send an address and you could just freeze it and boom. But but he's doing something. The one thing you do like is that there's chances being taken.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? He's taking chances on people. It's no guarantee that any of that stuff is gonna work. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
With Power, he didn't take as many chances. I mean, you know, Lorenz Tate has always been great, so that was great. You know what I'm saying? And there was a couple of people he stuck in there that he made sure. But then some on some of the other stuff, like on the BMF show, he really is taking a whole bunch of chances. Besides for the mother and the father, a couple of people that have been acting a long time, and it could work or it can't work. But if you don't take the chance, how do you know? You know what I'm saying? It's no different than me and you.
This year alone, he's got like 17 shows getting ready to drop.
Literally.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, I mean, that's the, you know, it's chance taking and you know, I don't know, man. It's the same. I just look at it like, because radio's not that, you know, years ago, maybe a decade, maybe a little more, there was all of this chatter about radio dying. All of this chatter. Radio's dying, radio's dead, radio's dying. Radio's not dead because we still get the weather. We still get what's going on in our cities. And the bottom line is that, yeah, a lot of times you put your phone in there, we'll reconnect to the Bluetooth, but the most common thing in our friggin' cars is our radio. You know, so if people are not listening to radio anywhere else, they're listening to in their cars. And then now, you know, you got apps because there's a, you know, I have a favorite station. It's here in Houston where I live. It's KTSU. It's a community-run station. It's from the college. But when I'm anywhere else, I listen to KTSU every friggin' place. You know what I mean? Like, you know, even when I'm out of town, sometimes I'm listening to it and they say weather today, and my friends be looking at me like, what the hell did they just say? So, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, but radio didn't die, and because radio didn't die, I think this might sound like a bitter old man. I think they owe us something.
Stop playing. I think you guys are owed a lot, and I wish a lot of heads would like really take that and take things that you're saying right now, because we're not the only ones out here trying to do this shit. You know what I mean? And we're not trying to take anything from you, like, or get bigger likes or anything. No, this shit is done because, man, this is where my heart is. This is where my shit
is.
The
way, and that's what Pink House was. That's what Pink House was. That's what Lady B was. That's what Mr. Magic was. That's what Greg Math was. I mean, that's what they were. They ended up blowing. Yeah, they ended up blowing, but they was doing it in the beginning just because they loved the music, the Awesome Two, everybody. They loved the music, and it was like, okay, we got an opportunity to get these rappers and our kind of culture to shine for a couple of hours. Let's do it. You know?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so I you know, there's nothing wrong with that. It's kind of the way we all started. Even, you know, at the expense of sounding old, even when we all started rapping, we started rapping because we loved it. We didn't start rapping because I say it all the time. People listen to my second album. I got a record called Stet Troop, which is actually one of my favorite Stetsasonic records. And on that record, I said, some people call me Kareem at work. They call me Glenn. This year I was on tour. Next year I'll do it again. Listen what I said. I said my names. I said at work, because that was my day job. And then I talked about being on tour. Because in the beginning, the way we used to do tours is we used to take leave of absences from our work, whether they paid us or not, went on tour and came back to work. So there was no guarantee for us that we was going to be able to quit our jobs and rap. We did not know we was going to be able to do that. But we were doing it out of the love either way. It wasn't, you know, so I just, you know, it's a little disappointing sometimes because I just feel like a lot of those people don't take the chances that they should take. And then the other side of it, very honestly, is people get complacent and comfortable because checks are checks.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you
Big facts.
you think somebody ain't gonna do it for the check, but then when they see the check, they be like,
Man,
you know what
look,
I'm saying?
I've been in that situation quite a few
Yeah.
times, and you'll know what the weakest link is once that money gets starting to talk about. You'll know how strong your team
Real
is.
talk. That's
You'll really
real
know how
talk.
strong your team is.
That's real
Hey,
talk.
Daddy-O, I know you hungry right now. You looking around for a plate. I see it in your eyes.
I'm about to get it
But
in a minute.
again, again, I want to thank you so much, man. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, man. This has fulfilled one of my childhood shits. It's like I never in my life, even being in the music industry before and doing shit, I never got a chance to meet you. I met Snoop and Daz, Corrupt, and a few, but that was in that era. But in my heart, I always wanted to like meet the real, true motherfuckers, and never in my life did I ever think I'd be sitting up here chopping it up with you, Daddy-O from Stetson Sonic, man. And this shit right here is hitting me different. You know what I'm saying? It's hitting me really different.
Man. Much
And
love,
I
man.
thank you so much, bro.
I'm always here, and
and
I talk a lot, so a lot of times,
No, but guess what? This is the first time in Unwrap history that I have actually shut my motherfucking mouth.
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, shout out to you for making me shut the fuck up. Because
legendary status.
Yeah, because everybody was like, yo, this is dope, bro. But are you gonna shut the fuck up? And not only that, they were like, and don't drink. Please don't drink. We don't be drunk, bro.
This shit right here.
well, we definitely got to come back and do a part 2, man.
No, see, but here's the thing. Slow down. I know, but slow down because we got a thing we call homies of the show. And we would be absolutely out of our motherfucking minds to not call this man a homie of the show.
Why not? I mean, yeah.
We only got a couple of. We only give people the homie of the show that like, yo, listen. So like the link I gave you, that's a forever link. You can pop in any show anytime you fucking want. You a homie of the show. We ain't never gonna deny you or nothing.
Man, I'm around, brother. I'm definitely around.
And once we get a little bit of bread, we're gonna make sure you got a shirt or something saying I'm a homie of the show. God damn it, you know what I mean?
That's what's up.
We trying over here. But
maybe we'll write some rhymes.
anything you want to say to Daddy-O before we?
We appreciate, like you said, it's rare air.
Yeah.
Like your ingenuity and your originality and the way you are really ushering in this new golden era, I guess, and just bridging that's beautiful. Like a lot of people would not expect someone like to talk about Juice WRLD and Dolph and the people that the kids now look up to, but they were trying to change the narrative in their own way. They was cut down unfortunately too soon, but those are some of the standout people, and the fact that you recognize the gift and what they was trying to bring to the world is crazy.
Thank you.
Pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, 100%. Engineer, anything you got to say? Because you've been coughing the whole time, smoking. But I don't know where you at, but you smoking or something.
I'm chilling, man. It's been a pleasure, Daddy-O. I appreciate your music. I appreciate what you're trying to do for hip hop. I appreciate what you're doing for hip hop, not trying. And just continue, man. And I definitely dig your new shit.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey, yo, anything, first of all, before you know what I'm saying, go live the rest of your life and shake us off like fleas. Tell these people if they don't know who you are, how to find you, where to find your music, where to find the gear, where to find everything.
Well, I'm Professor Daddy-O, one word, pretty much everywhere. My music is on Bandcamp. It's the Professor Daddy-O Bandcamp. You go up there, it's a lot of good treats up there. Including my, a lot of people don't know I made this T.I. diss record, which is dope as fuck.
See, man.
All that is up there. And then for the Stet stuff, it's all stetsasonic.com. It's, you know, Stet music is up there, and the gear and all of that. So yeah, Professor Daddio, all the way across. Definitely the Bandcamp. Check out my Bandcamp. Check out Stetsasonic Bandcamp as well.
Man, again, this has been nothing but spectacular. Absolutely 100%. We are honored, man, for you to grace our show. Man, if you ain't gained some new fans or anything, man, you gained a whole lot more respect and a whole lot more understanding for those that may have paid attention. I know I was paying attention. I know this shit meant everything to me. I've been excited. I'm still going to be excited. I told my wife, I gave her a promise that I wasn't going to drink during the show and get fucked up and fuck this up. But but I'm about to go. As soon as I hang up, we hang up this whole thing and call it a night. My ass is going upstairs, and now don't get mad at me now in about 30 minutes when I call you and be like, bro, yo, and I had a couple drinks for me because it just might happen, Daddy, yo, because you got a new best friend. You don't know it. You got a new best friend.
That's hilarious.
All right, that's a
You know
good
what I'm
thing,
saying?
man. That's a good thing. I don't have many friends, so that's good.
My man's. And thank you, everybody, for showing up. Hey, man, like, subscribe, and motherfucking comment, man. We need those shits right now because we're trying to get everybody on this motherfucking show.
Yeah.
We're trying to get some good insight, man. Help us out, man. Give us that like and subscribe. I ain't begging you. I'm just telling you what you should be doing anyways. God damn it.
Yep,
Absolutely.
that's real.
And we
All
out.
right, y'all. Y'all be
Let's
easy.
go.